4 years ago, Josh Taylor was the best fighter in Britain across all weight divisions. He was incredible climbing the mountain of undisputed, but staying on top has proven difficult. Injuries, motivation and weight all playing a part, but tonight he has the opportunity to show us the tornado once more that made him so successful. The questions will be asked by Ekow Essuman. Will Taylor have the answers? This is Fight Night Live on talkSPORT.
WBO European Welterweight Champion.
Hella excited for a big step up.
Ekow the Engine Essuman.
Now Essuman responds, and it's Cooper who's backed away to the corner, and Cooper is down, and it is over. Essuman finds more. The Tottenham Tornado! Josh Taylor! Beautiful movement from Josh Taylor. Davis is staggered. Taylor has him in the corner.
Now I'm back to being the hunter. You know, I'm nothing at welterweight.
Huge shot. Right hook from Taylor.
I've chosen a very, very tough and tried and tested opponent in Ekow here.
Back up those hooks, huge right hand there from Essuman, and Congo's in big, big trouble here.
They've slept on a few different sides to me.
Welcome to it. This is Fight Night Live. I'm Adam Cattrall, Gareth A. Davies alongside me in our studio in London. We're going to be bringing you live action from Glasgow in the Hydro, where Josh Taylor makes his return tonight. This time at 147 pounds, taking on Ekow Essuman. We're going to be bringing you Moses Atama in the split second as he makes his ring walk towards Mike Balogun, and we're also going to be getting stuck into the fight between Nathaniel Collins and Lee McGregor. Gareth, how are you, my man? You good?
Very good. Another great Saturday night. Great card up in Glasgow at the SSE Hydro. The home, of course, of Josh Taylor winning the Commonwealth Gold. World titles, 10 times he's won in Scotland. Great test tonight with Ekow Essuman. Brilliant step up to welterweight, the weight division above which he was undisputed champion, as you mentioned, 4 years ago. King of the world, number 5 in the Ring magazine rankings. And not just him, and because we're going to cross in a minute, this young man, Moses Atama. And if anyone's listening to us or watching us now, Moses Atama is worth a watch, and he's walking right now.
He will be part of the conversation a little later on, no doubt, because we're going to get stuck into what might happen next for Moses Atama. Should he be successful tonight against Mike Balogun? As Gareth just pointed out, he has just stepped through the ropes in Glasgow. We're going to be bringing you 3 fights. This is the first one, so let's get up to Scotland, shall we? And to our commentary team of Spencer Oliver and John Rowling.
Thank you, Adam. Good evening, everybody. And you can hear in the background the voice of Thomas Treiber introducing this first contest for us tonight, this heavyweight battle between Mike Balogun and Moses Atama.
The World Boxing Association. President Gilberto Mendoza Jr., Supervisor Thomas Hoots, Timekeeper Joe Brannon. Our 3 judges assigned will be Jean-Robert Lane of Monaco, Manuel Oliver Palomo of Spain, and Bob Williams of England. Our referee in charge will be John Latham of England. Introducing to you first the challenger, fighting tonight out of the red corner. He comes to the ring wearing black with silver and weighed in officially at 241 pounds. Coming to us from Upper Marlboro, Maryland, USA. He brings a professional record consisting of 21 wins, just 1 defeat, with 16 of his 21 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the challenger, Mike Silverback Balogun. And his opponent across the ring, he is a defending champion, fighting tonight out of the blue corner. He comes to the ring wearing gray with black and weighed in officially at 254 pounds. Hailing from Chatham, Kent, England, he is undefeated with 11 wins, 9 of his 11 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the reigning and defending WBO Intercontinental and WBA International Heavyweight Champion, Moses Atama.
given the reception there, that the boxing world, at least the British boxing world, is really waking up to the talent of this destructive young heavyweight.
Defend yourselves at all times, and the best luck to you both. Touch gloves.
Stands about 6'2.5", so not a giant, but he's got good footwork, good mobility, creates some terrific angles, and my goodness, Spencer, he can punch.
Yep, he certainly can, and as you said there, John, one of the best talents globally, this kid. There's a lot of pressure on his shoulders, but you just sense he's the type of guy that feeds off that pressure. Good opponent here. Let's go.
Both of them southpaws. Itauma slightly the taller man. Balogun very much the older man, 41 years old. Trying to double up behind his southpaw right-hand lead. Itauma just taking a little look at him here. Massive favourite, of course, to win this fight. Checked somewhere earlier on, he's something like 66-1 on. Virtually unbackable.
Yep, Balogun, one of those guys that has a really good record out of those 21 fixtures and just one defeat, 16 of those inside the distance. He can be wild, he does like to take a chance, sit in the pocket, but that could be his undoing against a talent like Moses Itauma.
Well, all the cynics, of course, who hear the praise about Itauma and how he's heading for a world title shot. Frank Warren even suggested that might come this year. And there's a good left hand from Itauma, and momentarily it just stiffened the legs of Balogun. First big punch that he's landed so far in this contest, and it was the speed as much as anything, Spencer.
Yep, speed and precision there with the left hand, and the left hand goes in again.
Oh, and another left hand, doubled up, and he's down in the first round. And there's still nearly 90 seconds to go. We're only at the midway stage of the opening round. Balogun taking his time, but has his head cleared. Well, we're going to learn that very, very quickly now, because Itauma is going looking for another showreel knockout.
Yep, stabs that jab out of game, lands his flush on Balogun's chin there. Balogun gamely tries to come back, throws a left hand and a right hook over the top. But Moses Itauma is in complete control here with 1 minute left in the first round.
Balogun at least giving it a go, though. He comes leaping in and tries to land the right hand. Itauma ties him up, and then out of the clinch lands a body shot, and they're standing now centre ring. Balogun on his toes tries to land a right-hand lead. He was caught by the left-hand counter of Itauma, who's trying to nail him again with another big shot in the remaining 30 seconds.
Yep, Balogun done well to get through this first round so far. Still 30 seconds left on the clock. And as I say that, Itauma again slams in that jab into the face of Balogun. Balogun just falls back again, falls short with a left hand of his own there, and nearly gets caught with a hook.
And again misses with a wild right hand, and he really does look wide open when he misses and stands square in front of Itauma. But we're coming up towards the bell to end the opening round. Mike Balogun will be delighted that the fight is continuing. Itauma goes back to his corner now, and we'll go into that blue corner where Itauma is sitting in front of his coach, Ben Davison.
Anytime you're not sure, look, set, might counter, a little bit of lead hand, bit of up and down, yeah? Take your time, we'll set them shots up again. Give me the bucket. Don't blow your nose. Dummy. Good. Keep that bit of lead hand up and down anytime he's set, yeah? Set them up.
It was a left hand into the cheek which did the damage on Balogun, but interesting words of advice there from Ben, and I wonder if Itauma's going to get the job done in this second round of this 10-round contest.
Yep, shows great poise and control there. Big left hook again, goes in.
It was a right hand that time. Right hand is put him flat on his back. Balogun bravely trying to get up. Referee having a close look at him. Now, is he going to allow him to continue? He looks into his eyes and says, yep, he's okay. And now Itauma will try to nail him again. Balogun onto the front foot, right into Itauma's face, trying to meet fire with fire.
Yep, that's all he can do at the moment. Balogun in the right hook. Again, and this time, Balogun is out. The referee waves it off. Balogun caught flush with another right hook.
Well, that was spectacular from Itauma. Balogun technically not good enough to avoid the barrage of heavy shots, not got the speed or the ring savvy to survive, and Itauma, well, the hype will continue.
Absolutely, listen, it was meant to be another test for Moses Itauma. Mike Balogun had only been beaten once, and that was against the world-class Murat Gassier. He got knocked out in 2 rounds there, but what we witnessed again from Moses Itauma, the finish was absolutely chilling. A right hook that landed flush on the chin there of Balogun. Balogun went over, and to his credit, he rose, he got up, he tried to take the fight straight back to Moses Itauma. Wrong thing to do. Itauma took half a step back, another right hook, boom, landed flush. The fight was over.
Yeah, it was spectacular. Adam, you were watching in the studio there with Gareth. How did you view that? It was devastating.
He's super exciting, isn't he, boys? He's just incredible. Just so light on his feet, lightning fast hands, rapid reactions. Listen, I'm ready for him to go now. I know that we're going to have this debate a little bit later on in the show, but I mean, the kid that he was in with tonight, Balogun, right? He got taken out in 2 rounds by Murat Gassiev, who is a fantastic fighter. And Moses Itauma hasn't even got out of first gear there. He looked absolutely incredible. I am ready to take the reins off this kid and let him rock and roll.
Well, I thought it was a great performance. I do think we have to take into account the level of Balogun here, but
yeah,
he was wild, not very defensively savvy. But Moses, as you say, the precision, he was barely touched in that fight. He's evading punches that are coming his way. He's light on his feet. What I love about him is there's still that puppyish look about him, because he's still only 20, and he's going to get physically more terse. He's going to get more and more conditioned. You know, I've already said this week what I think about him on our talkSPORT show, that I think he's capable of beating some very, very elite contenders right now.
The only caveat to all that, Gareth, and I agree with the bulk of what you're saying there, you really want to see him under pressure, want to see him caught and hit hard before you really believe 100%.
Yeah, the problem we've got, John, is we had it in with Dempsey McKean last time, a guy that was meant to give him rounds, and took Hogovic 12 rounds previous to that, and he dismantled him in round. We thought we was going to get some rounds again here.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the official time.
Same thing.
46 seconds
it's
of
going to be hard to hold him back.
Our referee in charge, John Latham, waves it off. Therefore, your winner by way of technical knockout, still undefeated, and still WBO Intercontinental and WBA International Heavyweight Champion, Moses Itauma.
Incredible. Moses Itauma getting the job done within 2 rounds against Mike Balogun. We're going to pick the bones out of all of that next on talkSPORT.
Boxing update on talkSPORT with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Buy now at dazn.com/boxing.
You listen to Fight Night Live on talkSPORT. I'm Adam Castle, Gareth A. Davies. Alongside me, we're bringing you live action from the Hydro in Glasgow tonight, where Josh Taylor steps up to welterweight to take on Ekow Essuman. That's our main event. We're going to be getting stuck into the all-Scottish affair between Nathaniel Collins and Lee McGregor very, very shortly, but we've just witnessed Moses Atama going through Mike Balogun like a dose of salts, getting him out of there in 2 rounds and obviously getting a few tongues wagging and giving strength to the argument that Gareth A. Davies made over the week with Adi Oladipo about how good Moses Atama is. He's obviously ranked number 2 with the WBO in the heavyweight division, 7 with the IBF and 3 with the WBA. They might improve now, obviously, after the back of that victory. And there's plenty of possible fights that I personally would throw him in with. Where do we take him next? Because there's the argument that, well, he's young, he's developing, we've got to do this and we've got to do that. What's he like when he's under pressure? Well, you've got to find somebody that puts him under pressure. It's all well and good saying all these things. The guy is super talented. He's got unbelievable feet, unbelievable hands. The speed that this guy moves at is incredible. And you're putting him in with decent guys. Dempsey McKean is a decent guy who's been rounds with some decent lads. You couldn't touch him. Mike Balogun, with all due respect, the only guy that's flattened him has been Murat Gassiev, a former world champion down at cruiserweight. Everybody else he's gone through quite comfortably. Tonight, he was made to look quite amateurish against Moses Atama. You've got to put him in with somebody where maybe people look at it and go, that's risky matchmaking. That's what you've got to do next.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, Spencer mentions a problem because we haven't seen him under pressure yet. I mean, in the 26 months since he turned pro, 26 months, 12-0 with 10 knockouts, Mike Balogun was a treading water fight in comparison to Dempsey McKean.
But he's 21-1. The record's there. I know it's padded a little bit, but it's
he
there.
hasn't fought the calibre of opponents.
But now there's Moses at a professional level.
But no, but what I mean is that Dempsey McKean, we'd seen him in a very decent fight with Filip Hrgovic, so we knew a level about him that he was capable of withstanding someone who was an interim champion at the time, or a mandatory champion with one of the sanctioning bodies. Look, you prefaced what we were just talking about there by mentioning I'd said in the week that with Adi Oladipo on Fight Night Extra on Tuesday that he suddenly threw to me at the end of the show. We were talking about Moses Atama.
Just bear me a second, because I'm going to come back to your point. We're going to hear from Moses himself. Let's see if Spencer can stick it on him and find out what he wants to do next. Over to you, Spencer.
Yeah, we're here with Moses now. Moses, I've got to say, mate, that was a sensational fight, sensational finish.
Bro, listen, like I said, I know that this was his chance to get into the big leagues. So although you lot thought that I was going to knock him out in like 1 or 2 rounds, I knew that whatever I hit him with, he's going to keep getting up. And that's what he did. But luckily, I was able to hit him with a shot that he couldn't get up from.
Listen, he showed a lot of heart in there because that first knockdown, he could have gone down and stayed down. He got up and he come back again. You know, this is a guy with only 1 defeat on his record. What I'm going to ask you is, at what level do we need to go to before you get them rounds? Dempsey McKean, then him.
Bro, I have no idea. It's not to me to decide, it's to my team.
I know it's not for you to decide. What I'm saying is, no, I'm not getting no headline, mate. I'm telling you the harsh facts and truths. Like, you're going to a really good level and getting rid of these guys. What I'm saying, the hype, you know, there's some truth behind the hype.
I mean, thank you. But all these compliments, I can't take it in. It's going to do me no favours. Like I said, I'm going to keep doing my job and try knocking people out, and you lot can keep doing your job of hyping me up.
Well, listen, that's exactly what we're going to do, mate, and we want to see you go to the top. Well done, Moses, mate, well done. Back to you guys.
Moses Atama there with Spencer Oliver up in Glasgow after getting rid of Mike Balogun within 2 rounds. Back to you, Gareth. You were just making a point regarding opponents, because that's going to be the big thing. A lot of fans are going to look at that going, right, I need to see him in with something. This guy is super talented. You've got to go to a really crazy level. You've got to really shock the audience, I think, in order to get them excited about a fight now with Moses Atama, because he's that good. You have to go to a top level to see if anybody can actually hit him.
Well, the backdrop to Mike Balogun being the opponent right now, I do know for certain that they were looking to get Moses in with Justice Hooney this year, but obviously Justice Hooney has replaced Jarrell Miller fighting Fabio Wardley in June. So that's the enigmatic, but that's the enigmatic things that Moses was talking about at the press conference earlier in the week, that he was lined up to fight someone else. It wasn't Martin Bakole. It was going to be Justice Hooney they were working towards. I sat down, Adi Oladipo played the game with me in Fight Night Extra on Tuesday at the end of our hour-long show and said, look, let me throw something at you before we finish the show tonight. Moses Atama right now, Daniel Dubois, I said, yeah, he beats him. Joseph Parker, yeah, he beats him. Anthony Joshua, yeah, he beats him. We didn't mention Ajit Kabayel. We didn't mention Alexander Usyk, but I said yes to those other three. You look at the Ring Magazine's top 10 in the world right now. I'm going to do it to you, right? Fabio Wardley at number 10. Does he beat Fabio Wardley?
I'll answer that question in a minute, because Spencer Oliver's going to speak to one of the guys that maybe you're going to put towards me in a minute, because Martin Bacoli's in Scotland.
Yes, he is in Scotland. He's with me right now. Martin Bacoli, firstly, how are you, my friend?
I'm okay. Good to see you again after a long time. Thank you.
Yeah, great seeing you. Listen, you're coming off that draw against Jagba. You know, talk to us a little bit about that. Was you disappointed you didn't get the win?
Of course, I'm disappointed. Even the venue that day, everyone was shouting that I'll win the fight. But the judge just said, no, the fight is so. Maybe they want to see the rematch. But I'm looking forward to the rematch. I'm open up.
You know, there is talk of that rematch, but we've just witnessed there Moses Atalma, a kid that's coming through, and he's coming through fast. Your name has now been linked with Moses. I think Frank Warren was talking about that as well. Is that a fight that you would welcome?
Yeah, no. He done well tonight. It's good luck to you. Well done for tonight. I know he's got a good future on the front of him, but I have a long way to go. To pick Martin Bacoli name in his mouth is a big mistake. Even Frank Warren knows that I'm not his level, to be honest. So I'm looking forward to fight for the whole title. So if he wants to fight me, I don't know, I'll fight him for what. So, but I know it's a good fight.
Yeah, listen, Billy Nelson was saying after your fight with Jagba there that he feels that you was coming in too heavy, and he wanted you to start coming in lighter to get that mobility back. Is that something you've been working on?
Of course, it's not only about the heavy. I'm a heavyweight anyway. It doesn't matter, but I was respecting a fight that night, but Jagba, when soon he feel my power, I start running away, and it affected a little bit my weight, but my plan game was to fight and knock him out. But it's lucky that day he keep running all the round, and I'm looking forward. If I fight someone like Moses, so I'll need to lose more weight. To be honest, but doesn't matter. It's a fight, it's a night. That was not my night, and the judge said the fight was draw, but I win the fight in my opinion. It is what it is.
Listen, Frank Warren was talking recently. He said there's a possibility as soon as even August that he would take you and Moses Atalma next. What do you reckon about that?
No, I'm open to it. Thank you. And today people are calling me out because I'm going 9 years now in the UK. No one was mentioning my name. But I'm so glad and so proud of myself because today people are mentioning my name. They want to fight me. This is what I want. I want a fight. So my team are there. I think maybe if they want a fight, they have to call Boxer and Bill Nelson. If everything is okay, I'll fight. My job is to fight.
Listen, you've been known now for years as the bogeyman, and how the landscape changes. We saw the Joseph Parker defeat, and then against the Jagba, you get the draw. Now people are calling your name, and that makes you feel happy.
Yeah, I'm so happy. People are mentioning my name. So before they was avoiding me, they was scared to mention my name. But now, thank God, they're mentioning my name. No, I'm in this business to box. No, my job is to box. So now I'm so happy that I'm getting easy fight. So I'm looking forward to it.
Right, Martin, come on. Just before I throw back to the guys, give me your hit list. Who do you want in the next 12 months? Give me 3 names that you want.
The first one, I want Parker rematch. I want a Jagba rematch. And I want a Joshua in Africa, maybe next Usyk.
Well, there you go, guys. He's got it. I've asked him for 3 names. He's given us 4. Back to you.
Well, that's interesting. Obviously, he's just had a draw with the Jagba. He's been flattened within a couple of rounds from Joseph Parker, and he obviously wants to get back in the mix there, Martin Bacoli. And I've no doubt that he was going to be part of your conversation with me with Moses Atalma, because that's the focus of the conversation that we were getting stuck into off the back of his fantastic victory. Go on, then. Continue.
If we reset, at the beginning of the year, I sat down with Moses Atalma and Francis Warren in the iBox gym in South London, and Francis Warren is going to say this. We saw him in the ring there on DAZN. We didn't get to hear what he said, but he said to me that he's been around Moses since he was 17, and he believes he's a Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Michael Phelps, Lionel Messi type talent. Now, if he does fulfill the potential, we all believe in him, he could take over the division by, I think, the end of next year, and we were talking about it off air.
Okay.
He could reign for a very long time. If he really has all those credentials and the minerals when, as Spencer mentioned during commentary, the problem, which it's a good problem to have, we don't know what his minerals are like when he's massively under pressure yet, when he's in the trenches. And if he's got it, and if he can take a dig, and he's got a great chin, and we hear great things about him sparring, then he will take over the division. There's little doubt about it. His presence, his southpaw stance, his ability to deflect things, his precision with punches, his clear power and movement and IQ. We see IQ all the time, don't we? We saw it tonight. Balogun didn't get him out of first or second gear. Wasn't good enough to do that.
No.
Moses got a sweat on and he was brilliant. What I'm going to throw at you, just to recap, that I said in the week that I believe Moses could beat, I didn't say definitely would, could beat Daniel Dubois, could beat Joseph Parker, and could beat Anthony Joshua. I think he could beat all of them. I think he could. But if you look at the top 10 in the world at the moment, I want to throw it at you. I just, before we went to Martin Bakole, though, called out Moses as one of his 4, but he was intent on 3 others rather than Moses, because Moses is the one that doesn't get him anywhere, frankly. Fabio Wardley's number 10 in the Ring magazine rankings. Obviously, he faces Justice Hooney. We're there for talkSPORT on June the 7th at Portman Road, Ipswich.
Yep.
Would Moses beat him at the moment?
Would he beat Fabio Wardley?
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that, but what I would...
No, you've got to give an answer.
No, I don't know the answer to that.
All right, you don't know the answer.
But what I would say is, whoever loses that fight between Wardley and Hooney, I think should be the next opponent for Moses Itauma.
Well, Justice Hooney was a guy they were looking to put Moses Itauma in with. They're both highly ranked. I think it's WBO they're both highly ranked with. They wanted to become an interim champion or a mandatory champion because Frank Warren wanted that position for Moses. You cannot hold him back for too long. So you're getting splinters in the backside tonight on Fabio Wardley.
Listen, I don't know whether... Listen, we're basically saying here now, right, we don't know what he's like under pressure. My eye test, looking at this boy, he is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Feet, hand speed, reactions, absolutely outstanding. As I'm looking at all the top heavyweights, there are 4 that I wouldn't put him in with next. The 4 are Usyk, Dubois, Parker, Caballel.
And we're leaving Fury out at the moment because he's retired. We'll come back to that.
We'll come back to him later on. So those 4...
Lago de Como and all that.
So those 4, right? Leave them. If you were to announce a fight with any of these...
So Anthony Joshua.
If you were to announce that fight, I don't think it's too much of a stretch for him right now.
Okay, so Anthony Joshua, I love that, Anthony Joshua, and I agree with you. Number 6 in the Ring magazine. I'm gonna go in reverse order because it is.
I don't know. Listen, I don't know whether he beats them, but if you were to announce the fight now, I'm not going to be offended by probably any of these names that you give me. Go on.
Absolutely. F.A. Jagba, number 9.
No problem with it.
Martin Bakole, number 8.
No problem with it.
Zhile Zhang, number 7.
No problem.
Philip Hrgovic, number 6.
No problem.
And then we've got Joshua at 5, and then we've got Caballel, Parker, Dubois, and Usyk. The problem for him with most of them, almost all of them, is experience.
Yeah, you could put in Okoli into that conversation, Jared Anderson into that conversation, you can put in Chisora Gassiev, you know, and you've just been talking about Bakole, Wilder, Ruiz, all these names.
All of them.
If you were to announce a fight, Moses Itauma versus any of them next, it would not... I wouldn't be sat here going, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'd be going, well, come on then, let's find out.
Well, I think if Justice Hooney wins against Fabio Wardley, and I make... Speaking to Spencer Brown, Justice Hooney's manager, and obviously he's managed by, I think it's Michael Francis in Australia as well, and he's training up in Blackpool. I'm going to go and see him this week, at the end of next week. He's got a chance against Fabio Wardley, but Fabio, as we know, has got the dog in him. It's very hard to pick against Fabio in these fights.
Of course.
Do you think that Fabio is on his own train if Fabio wins that, and Moses Itauma is the wrong opposition? Could you see Frank Warren putting Moses Itauma in with Fabio Wardley later this year?
If Fabio Wardley wins? No.
Yes.
No. Because Fabio Wardley, listen, if you go and beat Hooney in the Ipswich fight, you're on your own. You're flying towards World Championships. You're hoping that maybe a belt comes available. You're hoping to maybe get yourself in a situation where you're fighting. You're not looking backwards, are you? You're not looking down the rankings. However, if you get beat in that scenario, then maybe it becomes a little bit more viable matching those two together. That's why I said whoever loses the fight between Wardley and Hooney, I genuinely believe is a viable opponent for Moses Itauma.
Well, the reason neither of those... I mean, Joseph Parker, my understanding is with Joseph Parker that he will watch Dillian White on June the 7th, and that fight could be made later in the year, is my understanding.
Right.
If Dillian White... I know, but Joseph Parker is waiting for a fight with the winner of Alexander Usyk.
To be fair,
and Daniel Dubois on July the 19th.
To be fair, obviously I bang on about meritocracy all the time in this game, don't I? As I analyse that purely from a Joseph Parker point of view, he's fought White before. He came up short. He's in a rich vein of form. He would probably be the favourite going into a fight with Dillian White.
No, definitely.
So therefore it works for him.
I would see him as a big favourite, Adam.
I don't think it works for boxing and meritocracy, but it works for him as he waits for whatever
That's what I'm saying. So it's certainly being looked at the moment.
Okay.
Joseph Parker deserves a world title shot. It's as simple as that.
No doubt.
He deserves to fight the winner of Daniel Dubois and Alexander Usyk, regardless of who wins.
So does Caballel, though.
And Caballel is in the very similar position. I mean, meritocratically speaking, I'm sure I've said this before, if we could get Caballel against Parker right now, and the winner of that would definitely qualify to fight for the winner of Dubois and Usyk. That would be the ideal scenario. But because it's snakes and ladders and you slide all the way down the snake, you lose. They don't.
The ideal scenario would have been for one of those guys to fight Dubois and one of those guys to fight Usyk, and then everybody can come together at the end. Because let's not forget, Parker had a title shot against Dubois. It was there. And Dubois pulled out the fight for injuries and illnesses and all this type of thing, and Parker cracked on. He, for me, has not been punished, but he has kind of lost his slot there through no fault of his own.
I agree with you. He deserved the shot against Usyk after knocking out Bakoli in 2 rounds. I completely agree with you. I think we've reiterated this point several times on this magazine show, and it feels at the moment like he's the forgotten man. He's the man that's been edged to the outside.
Yeah. But last week when Frank Warren was on the show, I think he was talking August, September time for Joseph Parker to be back out? Hopefully that matches what you're referring to now.
Potentially Dillian White.
Yeah, because I don't want Joseph Parker to go and have a keep busy ticking over fight, because, like I said, we are in a good spot now. Boxing seems to be giving us the matchups that we all want to see. Like, for example, tonight, look at Josh Taylor's resume with the last 10 fights that he's had. All top guys, top contenders that have only got one loss on some of the records. A lot of them undefeated. That's what we want to get back to, don't we?
It is.
We don't want to tick over.
It is, but I think in the heavyweight division, it is the blue ribbon division in terms of the draw with an audience globally, and it's also the blue ribbon division when it comes to the draw with commerciality, with the amount of money available for them, and the decisions are based much more around business in the heavyweight division than any other division, in my view. And I think that's where, like you say, I mean, we have to give credence and a certain level of thanks to the Saudi Arabian investment, because that was largely in the heavyweight division, and it did really...
Oh, without it, we're in a mess.
It panned the gold out in the division, didn't it, over 18
months? Well, it forced
months.
people to fight each other.
It forced them to fight each other. It created a ranking system that we believe in.
Yeah.
And that we...
And it rewarded meritocracy, as you've just been referring to.
Exactly. And I think we're there now. What we mustn't do is let it slip.
Absolutely.
That's the key. Don't let that slide back again. I mean, you know, we've poured scorn in recent weeks on the WBO rankings, for example. We've poured scorn on Manny Pacquiao coming back to fight with the WBC for the WBC world title against Mario Barrios, the holder, at 147 pounds, the welterweight division. Mm-hmm. But when you look at the WBO at the moment, you look at their rankings. Justice Hooney's 1, Moses Itauma is 2, Fabio Wardley is 3, Gilles Zhang is 4, Lawrence Coley's 5, and Jared Anderson... Gilles Zhang is 4, Lawrence Coley's 5, and Jared Anderson is 6.
That's ridiculous.
That makes a mockery of what we've just been talking about.
Yeah.
And they can do it because they've got Alexander Usyk there as the champion at the moment, and they've got Joseph Parker as the interim.
Yeah.
So everything else underneath is not meritocratic, and we know it, and the boxing fans know it.
Yeah. I think we've got to get away from paying too much attention towards sanctioning body rankings, because people are there because they paid sanctioning fees and they're favourable with particular... It's like, how can you be a champion in the heavyweight division and hold an alphabet belt but not be ranked by one of the other alphabets? It's absolutely ridiculous that happens in this sport, and therefore we need to get to the stage where that happens, so therefore we can actually force mandatory unifications a lot more in the game. We need to pay, I think, from a fan point of view, a lot less interest in some of these ranking systems and some of the noise that goes in and around these ranking systems. We know what the crack is. You know, you watch enough boxing, you watch enough of these athletes to know who's doing well, what's a good win, what's a padded win, and who is well within their right to be calling for title shots. As we stand right now, Joseph Parker and Ajit Kabayel, have served the time. They've had 3 great wins apiece. I think they should be in line for world title honours. You can't really begrudge Daniel Dubois getting another go at Alexander Usyk, given the 3 wins that he's just had previously as well. So we're in a good space at the top end. The rest of them, I wouldn't mind a lot of these guys fighting each other and having a little bit of a round robin to see who the rising guy is. I like the fact that Fabio Woodley and Justice Huni are fighting each other. Do you know something? I like that fight a lot more than I like the Jarrell Miller fight.
No, I like the Jarrell Miller fight.
Well, everybody knows my thoughts on Jarrell Miller and what he's done in the past, and my attitude towards whether he should be or shouldn't be allowed to continue at the highest level making a lot of money. I like Woodley Huni. I think that interests me more than Woodley versus Jarrell Miller. And you'll come at me maybe from a different angle because Miller is a bit of a gob and he'll sell it a little bit more.
That's
He'll create
why, and he did create a lot of ticket sales. But I'm going to go back to Moses Itauma before we go to break, okay? And I'm just going to say the next fight, our break, their fight. That what I find fascinating about Moses Itauma is that his first language is Slovakian. Yeah, because he was born in Slovakia. Mm-hmm. His mother's Slovakian. His father's Nigerian. Great man, his dad as well. This is a famous story if you're listening to this and don't know about Moses. School uniform, age 15, stripping off his school uniform straight from school to spar with Joe Joyce. His first boxing sessions as a 9-year-old, he vomited so badly he never wanted to go back to the gym again. And yet, this is a kid who may be a world champion if he fulfills what we believe in him. He may be in the top 4 youngest ever heavyweight champions of the world. Mike Tyson was the youngest, Floyd Patterson was the 2nd youngest, and Muhammad Ali was the 3rd youngest at the age of 22.
Good company.
Oh, it's very good company, isn't it? It really is. He's a special guy. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what's made us piggyback on this conversation about heavyweights. Obviously, we've got massive heavyweight fights coming up. June the 7th, Fabio Wardley and Justice Huni at Portman Road. Brilliant for Fabio being an Ipswich boy. The Tractor Men, are they?
Tractor Boys.
The Tractor Boys. Yeah. July the 19th, Wembley Stadium. I think Frank Warren told us they're up to about 80,000 tickets now for Daniel Dubois and Alexander Usyk. And we wish Daniel and Don Charles well in that. But it's great to have these heavyweight fights that are in the UK.
Absolutely. Listen, we're going to talk heavyweights a lot more later on in the programme. We're going to talk Tyson Fury as well with his post from Lake Como a little earlier on today on social media, so make sure you stick around for that. Right now, though, let's get back up to Glasgow, shall we? Because we've got a heck of a fight in the featherweight division. Nathaniel Collins and Lee McGregor. It's an all-Scottish affair. It should be an absolute cracker, and calling you through it, Spencer Oliver and John Rowling.
Thank you very much. And we are now ready for what possibly will turn out to be the fight of the night. Lee McGregor has already made his way to the ring, and he's waiting and watching the Edinburgh man now, while Nathaniel Collins from Bearston, just 6 miles outside Glasgow city centre, he's now going to make his way towards the ring, and I'm sure will get a phenomenal reception himself. Collins is actually the favourite to win this one. Quotas at about 7-4 on. McGregor, though, knows that this is a fantastic opportunity, and the winner of this could well go on to fight the WBC champion at featherweight, Stephen Felton. It could happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the winner of this puts themselves in that position. This is a huge, huge fight here. All Scottish affair. And yeah, you're right. Collins will start the favourite going into this one, but I've got to say, Lee McGregor has that experience. He's been there, seen it, done it. Okay, yes, he's 15, 1-1 with 11 KOs. He's been British, Commonwealth, European, bantamweight champion, moved up to super bantamweight, now up at featherweight. This is a fantastic fight, a very difficult one to call. Real 50-50 here.
McGregor's defeat was in July 2023 against the Mexican, Eric Robles Ayala. He had problems away from boxing, but now lightning Lee McGregor says he's right back as Nathaniel Collins comes past our commentary position here at ringside with a black mask on and a grey top hoodie embroidered top, and on the back of it, his ring nickname, Nightmare. Nightmare Nathaniel Collins against Lightning Lee McGregor. It could just turn out to be an epic confrontation.
Yeah, absolutely. This one has the makings to be fight of the night. If this delivers, we're in for something very, very special.
Thomas Treiber has his magic piece of paper, and here he is.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for 12 rounds, and it will be for the vacant WBC Silver Featherweight Championship. Brought to you by Frank Warren for Queensberry, in association with Wasserman Boxing, along with their great sponsors, Riot Season, 32 Red, That Prize Guy, Unibet, and Global Next Trade. It is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control, Steward in Charge John Swanson, along with the World Boxing Council. President Mauricio Suleiman, Supervisor Peter Stuckey, Timekeeper Joe Brannon. Our three judges assigned will be Mark Bates of England, Christoph Fernandez of France, and Steve Mertz of Germany. Our referee in charge, third man in the ring, will be Mark Lyson of England. Introducing to you first, fighting tonight out of the red corner, he comes to the ring wearing red with white and weighed in officially at 125.4 pounds. Coming to us from Edinburgh, Scotland, he has a professional record consisting of 15 wins, just one defeat, one draw, 11 of his 15 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former EBU European champion and current WBC International Featherweight champion, Lightning Lee McGregor.
And what a reception for the Edinburgh favourites.
And his opponent across the ring, fighting tonight out of the blue corner. He comes to the ring wearing gray with white and weighed in officially at 125.6 pounds. Hailing from Bearsden, Scotland, he is undefeated with 16 wins, 7 of his 16 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the undefeated former British, Commonwealth, and EBU European Silver Featherweight Champion, Nathaniel the Nightmare Collins.
Collins with a smile on his face through that almost taunting Lee McGregor across the ring.
Okay, boys, I've already spoken to you both. You know what I expect. Stay professional, obey my commands, and most of all, protect yourself at all times. Just go, boys. Good luck, boys.
I'm sure they will stay professional because they've been great friends in the past, amateur colleagues in the Scottish team. They've sparred countless rounds together, but now it's for real, and this is rather different.
Yeah, here we go. This has all the makings of being a classic. Nathaniel Collins, the southpaw, comes out with that double jab, and Lee McGregor just taking his time, and this one should really heat up here.
Similar stature, McGregor, slightly the taller man, stands around about 5'7.5" in red and white shorts, and in the grey and white shorts, it's Nathaniel Collins with the word Izzy across his waistband. That's his 2-year-old daughter. Lee McGregor as well says his daughter is a great inspiration to him. Both dedicated to their children, and both of them, even at only 2 years old, Izzy taking an interest, and Lee McGregor's daughter shares every moment with him. She was at the press conference earlier on in the week, and he now is absolutely ready to perhaps seize the biggest chance of his career. As I said a little bit earlier, there is maybe a world title fight for the winner. The loser, where are they? And McGregor misses with a wild overhand right and is punished with a left-hand, right-hand combination by the fast fists of Nathaniel Collins.
Yeah, McGregor just left his feet behind there through the 1-2. And Collins, who has a great boxing IQ, took half a step back and made McGregor pay there. McGregor come back with a good right hand of his own as both guys now get tied up with 1 minute, 20 seconds left on in this first round.
Referee Mark Lyson has a word with both guys about using their head in close. I don't think there's been a deliberate ploy, just inevitable in the early stages of a passionate contest such as this. And this is McGregor now, who's leaning on Collins, trying to show his physical strength in his own corner at the right-hand side as we watch the red corner. That's where Lee McGregor is. His team is there shouting their encouragement. And he'll need all the encouragement he can get tonight if he's to seize his chance against this talented, undefeated fighter. And great reaction from the crowd as Collins landed a solid left hand. And again, you hear Mark Lyson shout, "Stop boxing."
Yeah, McGregor just trying to stamp his authority in this opening round, trying to take that centre of the ring, but he has to be careful. Nathaniel Collins looks dangerous with that counter, landed a good left hand to the body, followed by a left hand to the head.
Who's going to have the greater punch power? Well, we'll probably learn that by the end of this contest, which on paper gives every indication that it could go the full 12-round distance. We're in the last few seconds of the opening round. And I don't know who you think's won it, Spencer. Let's hear now. Difficult to split them.
Yeah, it certainly was very difficult to split them. Lee McGregor was trying to take charge there, trying to stamp his authority. Made a couple of fundamental mistakes early on in the round. Through the 1-2, fell short, and he was made to pay there by the greater boxing of Nathaniel Collins. He just took half a step back, drove that left hand through, and the right hook's over the top. The cleaner punches maybe landed by Nathaniel Collins in that first round, and that was enough, maybe just to take it. But still anyone's fight there after one round.
Collins has come back from serious physical problems in the last year. He had to have emergency surgery for a twisted bowel, and since making a recovery from that, he's dedicated himself to absolutely supreme physical fitness. We go now into the second round. Who do you reckon Collins won that opening round then?
Yeah, Collins landed the cleaner work and maybe just stole that one, but like I say, no one really stamped their authority in that round. It's going to be interesting to see this one as it unfolds.
A lot of it's going to be down to conditioning, training, stamina, and of course, will to win. Collins, the southpaw, having to cope with getting inside the longer levers, the longer reach of Lee McGregor, and he's doing so quite effectively so far. But McGregor again is trying to walk Collins back onto the ropes, trying to show that he is physically the boss in there. Well, I'm not too sure about that, and that, of course, is not what the boxing game is about. Yeah. It's scoring shots.
Yeah, that's exactly what McGregor's trying to do. He's imposed himself early here, trying to show who's the boss in there, but Collins is better than that. He's smarter than that. 15-0, 7-0 by KO. He can whack a little bit. Timing, precision is his game. He's took the opening round, landing some good shots. I will say, John, McGregor has to be careful he doesn't get reckless going in here.
Yeah, and he's also got to be careful he doesn't incur the wrath of the referee, because he is leaning in and lurching in, and he's landed a couple of low shots on the blind side of the referee as he's done so. But clearly, Nathaniel Collins raised his eyebrows and looked at the ref as much as to say, OK, mate, what are you going to do about this?
Yeah, McGregor is trying to turn it into that dogfight already. He recognises the technical ability of Nathaniel Collins, who's a cute counter-puncher, boxing out that southpaw style. As I say that, McGregor pins Collins on the ropes above us, trying to work the body, trying to rough him up. Mark Lyson, the referee here, has got a job to do, as McGregor again just misses with that left hook.
Well, the crowd are going to love this one, and as fatigue begins to set in, at the moment, neither is taking a real clear advantage. McGregor, who was once upon a time a member of the GB elite squad, is trying to show he's physically the stronger. He's getting on the front foot, and his head again now in the chest of Collins, and he thuds home 2 or 3 solid solid body shots as he does so.
Yeah, that's exactly what he does, and leads off with that right hand again, just crosses the feet over and found success there. Collins comes back with a dangerous looking uppercut, but McGregor just bites down on his gum shield, head on the chest of Collins here, and just trying to rough him up.
And 2 or 3 more solid body shots from McGregor as he does so, and the referee says break. And good shot, good right hand from Collins. McGregor takes it well though, and McGregor trying to come straight back. Again, he's got his head on Collins' chest and lands a thudding right hook into the body.
I tell you what, John, there was a good left hook as that right hand simultaneously landed from Collins. McGregor landed a left hook of his own that really jarred the head back. Let's get into the red corner here on McGregor and see what they've got to say.
Can you square up when you put that right hand on me? It's the only thing we're doing. We're always looking for a picture trying to keep on you. Don't give him an opportunity by overreaching. It's the only time you're getting caught.
Every single time you overreach.
Just and here, mate, jabbing here, let your right hand go. When you get that gap, double jab, but you reverse something shouting, reverse some teeth.
Feint and then find your feet. Feint up, get your feet and then throw. Don't try and throw a right hand when it's all the way out. He's too good at reacting to it. He's making you miss every time. Don't throw that right hand powerful, throw it like a jab. Then reverse it.
Okay. The big left hand that McGregor landed in that second round was perhaps his best punch of the fight so far. Did you give him that second?
Yeah, I give McGregor the second round. A good words there from Sonny Edwards, who's working the corner of McGregor, saying, move your feet into range before throwing the shots. Don't stay out of range because you're getting counter-punched, and that's where Collins is getting his success. McGregor needs to move his feet and then let his hands go. Don't try and close the gap with your punches.
Well, he's trying to do precisely that in this round. He's not actually thrown a punch so far. It's only Collins who's landed anything resembling a scoring shot, and again there's an untidy clinch, and the referee, Mark Lyson, Liverpudlian referee, splits them as we come towards the end of the opening minute of this third round, and on Spencer Oliver's card it's 1 round apiece at this stage. Good left hand again from Collins, but McGregor keeping a tight defence now.
Yep, a more cagey start to this third round from both guys, and McGregor's the one that's trying to force the pace by working his feet closer, but not a lot coming back from Collins. McGregor lands a good right hook to the body there. I think Collins may have found that, but comes back with a lovely 1-2 of his own. Just bit down on his gum shield there, John.
Yeah, he's getting right on the border, isn't he, McGregor? He's trying to show, though, that he's the man who's got the punch in there. He's the one who's the heavier-handed, and maybe at this stage, still a long way to go, but right now in this third of 12 rounds here, in this chief support to our main event later on, Josh Taylor against Ekow Essuman here on talkSPORT. We're in the third round, and there's not a lot between them, but just maybe the bigger puncher so far has been the challenger from Edinburgh, Lee McGregor.
Yeah, McGregor doing well, pushing forward, but I tell you what, Collins is coming back with some good shots of his own. He's picking the shots well to the body and just seems to have turned the screw a little maybe in this third round, and maybe just doing enough here, Collins, to win this one, but it's a real seesaw. Anyone's round again.
Yeah, a minute to go, it can still change, and Collins' gun shield wound up on the floor while Spencer was explaining that. Oh, that's definitely a low one from McGregor, but again, he gets away with it. Collins has taken a few, as you might say, south of the border, and so far McGregor has not been penalised by the referee. Good right hand this time from McGregor, whose face is just starting to redden slightly from the punches which are landing from Collins, and now he's right in the face of the Glasgow man, working away. Collins holding on, trying to stifle his punching opportunities. 15 seconds to go in the third.
Yeah, McGregor trying to force the pace, trying to work everything. I tell you what, Collins has had success here. He's been switching great array of punches to the body and the head. The uppercuts have been working as well. Misses there with a lead right hook, and McGregor makes him pay. But overall, John, I think Collins has done enough to nick that round.
Yeah, I'd agree with that one. And I think McGregor was trying to do what his corner had said, namely to get into range through his footwork rather than punch his way in and leaving himself open to counters. But in so doing, he just wasn't working enough.
No, exactly that, John. He started moving the feet, but he needed to let his hands go momentarily after, and he wasn't doing that. He was getting in range. And Collins, being, you know, the boxer he is, was recognising it, whipping the shots in, beating him to the punch, and just doing enough to nick the round. McGregor tried to claw his way back into it in the last 30, 45 seconds or so, but wasn't enough. Nathaniel Collins for me in that one, and a real close fight still coming up, going into the fourth.
And a reminder, you can watch along with us ringside here in Glasgow at the Glasgow Hydro Arena. Head over to talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel right now to get involved. This is Ekow Essuman against Josh Taylor live on talkSPORT, and now we've got the main support fight, Nathaniel Collins against Lee McGregor, an all-action WBC silver featherweight fight, which in effect is an eliminator for the world title, and as we anticipated, it is very close indeed as we move into the fourth round.
Yeah, two class acts we've got here. I've got Nathaniel Collins 2 rounds to 1 up, but it could quite easily be the other way. The rounds have been that close. It's what you like, subjective scoring. For me, it's the accuracy of Collins, the precision of Collins. But do you like McGregor, that bullish sort of style? He's trying to grind out a victory here.
Yeah, he's trying to show that he is the hard man in there, but he walked straight into a ramrod right-hand lead from Collins as I was speaking, and that was an example of what Spencer was telling you about. He was trying to fight his way into range rather than use his footwork, and he's been caught, and caught badly. He's holding on desperately, and he's gone down, and he's getting a count. That's being given as a knockdown, and McGregor has touched the canvas for the first time. Collins was getting into control, and he most definitely is now, and we're only in the fourth round of this 12-rounder. He takes another big left hand, and another. He's down for a second time. The McGregor corner is thinking about throwing the towel in, but they're going to allow him to continue at least for now. He's been down twice in this fourth round, and there is still a minute and a quarter to go. And Collins has tried to finish him, and the towel does come in. It's all over in the fourth round. And what a performance from Nathaniel Collins. He's up on the ropes, celebrating now. That was absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. A star is born. His name is Nathaniel Collins. Remember it. What a performance against a former British, Commonwealth, European champion, world-class operator Lee McGregor. Nathaniel Collins has put his name right out there. World title next, I'm sure. What a performance, John. No one expected that. We didn't. No. Like I say, the accuracy was coming from Collins. You know, the boxing IQ was coming from Collins. But McGregor, that was a scintillating finish.
We thought it was going to go long, but when he got his opportunity, my goodness, how well he took it. And he showed that he's not just a smart boxer. He shows that he has real fighting instinct, seeing that he got his man going and stepping in and delivering the finish.
Absolutely, what a finish it was there. It was the manner he went around it, the body shots, the left hooks, the right hooks that were going into the head as well. And Lee McGregor, bless him, there was nothing he could do about it. He was systematically taken apart there by a class acting Nathaniel Collins, who's maybe got under the radar, but now people will know this kid's name.
Well, we're watching, as we're commentating to you here, slow motion replays of the knockouts as they come and the knockdowns in that final round. As it turned out, the fourth, it was an accruement of of punishment. There were several shots which brought the first knockdown, but once he'd got him going, he really stepped in. Another terrific left hand, followed by a right cross, put McGregor down for the second time, and then the third time, well, describe it for us, Spencer, as the towel came in.
Yeah, it was the left hand through the middle that landed flush in the face there of Lee McGregor, sent the head right back. He come back with a chopping right hand on the side of the head, and as McGregor was going down, you could see the eyes had separated. He was never going to beat the count. It all started from a lovely left hook to the body, followed by the left to the head, right hook over the top. McGregor went down on all fours, bending over, and the referee, Mark Lyson, doing the right thing, jumping in, not even bothering with the count and waving it off. Great performance there by Nathaniel Collins.
I guess there'll be a lot of people listening on talkSPORT this evening who haven't heard of this guy. He's only in his 17th professional fight here. Great performance, and he knew that the victory was going to give him a phenomenal platform in front of a capacity crowd here at the Glasgow Hydro. They have turned out in thousands, admittedly, for Josh Taylor, but they'll remember this lad as well, Nathaniel Collins, because he's a little bit special.
This was down as a 50-50 fight going into this one. McGregor coming with a wealth of experience, coming off a good win against Isaac Lowe as well, and you go, this kid is going to be tough to beat. Nathaniel Collins, will he have the tools, will he have the minerals to be able to do that? And boy, did he deliver. There, the fight was going one way, then the other. No one really stamped their authority after 3 rounds. But that 4th round, Nathaniel showed his class. What a performance.
Great performance, and indeed, and in a moment we're going to get confirmation of the result, and the celebrations will be long and loud.
Ladies and
for this
gentlemen,
Glasgow
here is
crowd.
the official time. 1 minute 45 seconds of round number 4. Our referee in charge, Mark Lyson, stops the contest. Therefore, your winner by way of technical knockout, still undefeated, and now the WBC Silver Featherweight Champion, Nathaniel the Nightmare Collins.
Great victory for Nathaniel Collins, taking Lee McGregor out in the 5th round. We'll pick the bones out of all of that. Don't forget, our main event tonight is Josh Taylor taking on Ekow Essuman, and you can watch it live only on DAZN. Sign up to DAZN.com/boxing.
Boxing Update on talkSPORT with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
Fight Night Live on talkSPORT. I'm Adam Cattrall. Gareth A. Davies with me in the studio here in London. We are bringing you live action from the Hydro in Glasgow. Our illustrious commentary team have delivered two fantastic fights for you so far, and we've got a main event to get stuck into in a moment or two with Josh Taylor out back in front of his Glasgow faithful, taking on Ekow Essuman. I apologise, because just before the break I said that fight finished in the 5th round. It didn't. It finished in the 4th round. He's a special talent, Nathaniel Collins, and as John was alluding to there's a lot of people that might not necessarily know too much about who he is in this featherweight division, because obviously from a British standpoint, those headlines consistently get stolen by Nick Ball, because he is a ferocious wrecking machine and he's the WBA champion. But he's done extremely well to get himself well ranked, Nathaniel Collins. I think with the WBC he's up in and around 4 or 5, something like that, where Stephen Fulton is the current champion. That's why the boys, I suppose, in commentary were alluding to the fact that there might be an opportunity for him to be fighting for world titles. There's some guys ahead of him that I think are really, really talented, the likes of the Bruce Carringtons of this world, and maybe even the Brandon Figueroas from over the stateside. But Nathaniel Collins, when you put that performance together, the way that he put that together, the way that he navigated a very rough and rugged Lee McGregor through the first 3 rounds there, the shot that started that sequence was absolutely exquisite. And once he got his guy hurt, didn't let him off the hook. He went methodically through the business and got the job done.
Yeah, 7 stoppages in his 16 wins so far. You know, this is a guy that's unbeaten, former British, former Commonwealth champion. He's climbed the rungs very carefully. He's starting to look very seasoned, and as you say, what he did there, he weathered that storm from Lee McGregor, who's come up in weight and really had to chase him, really had to push him, make it a dogfight. These guys know each other, they've sparred before, so they had previous, but in gym time, and I thought he handled the doggedness of McGregor very well. It was a very hard fight to score in the first 3-4 rounds, but then he got going in that 4th round, precise shots, hurt McGregor, who was kind of going south of Hadrian's Wall with his punches in the 3rd and 4th rounds as well. Weathered those low blows, not offensively low blows, I would say, kind of on Hadrian's Wall itself, let's say that. But then came out with precision and looked for the finish and had him down 3 times. A 3rd time, towel came in 4th round. Job done. Only Brandon Figueroa, Carlos Castro, Bruce Carrington, Shushu Carrington, one of Top Rank's leading guys in the featherweight division, and Fulton, as you say, Stephen Fulton, the champion, Ray Vargas, the WBC's champion in recess, which means he was the WBC, but he's had a break.
Well, this is interesting, right? Because he's well ranked, and you could probably call for a voluntary shot against Stephen Fulton. Has he got the guys on his ledger, Nathaniel Collins this is, to then jump straight into a world title fight? Or would you like to see him one where, you've just mentioned a couple of guys there that I'm looking at and thinking, Luis Neri, even the Luis Alberto Lopez's of this world that have been at the top, maybe fallen off a touch.
Luis Neri's had Noya Nui on his backside,
there you
remember?
Go. Dangerous guys.
At super bantam.
Dangerous guys that have got world-level experience.
Yeah.
Is it something like that before we then look towards a Stephen Fulton, who's the current champion?
I think, you know, it's all about how he's managed and promoted at this point. You know, Frank Warren is very clever with these things. It will come down to opportunity versus money, opportunity versus payday, opportunity. Frank will say, I think this guy can beat everyone in the division. He's looked brilliant there.
Well, Frank's got the other guy. He's got Nick Ball in there, hasn't he?
Frank's got Nick Ball as well, who's his number 1 leading featherweight. You alluded to Nick Ball just now, and he's the number 1.
Yeah.
You could put those two in together if it's sold somewhere, but obviously he wants Nick Ball to face Noya Nui at some point. It's a fight that could easily be made. I like Nick Ball and Anthony Kakache as well, by the way, at Super Feather. I think that's a terrific fight. I just think it works. But I think the power of Collins, we were talking about it during the fight, Nathaniel Collins is beautiful. Spencer used the word cute. It's what we call a boxer who has a very clever guard, who moves with great skills. Cute doesn't mean what he looks like. Cute in movement, cute in punches. And that was a very, very cute finish.
Like I said, the matchmaking for his next fight is going to be very, very interesting, because there is no going back from this point. Do you give him a seasoned guy in order to step towards a world title, or do you try and get the world title shot? It's going to be interesting to see what that process is. It's a very long road back, I think, for Lee McGregor. Of course, listen, I don't put too much stresses on losses, but if you've got big aspirations of getting to the top of the tree and you're falling short before you get to the top of the tree, it is very, very, very tough game. Congratulations, Nathan Collins. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people bouncing out of the Hydro this evening with with your name on their lips, and I'm sure they're wanting the name of this guy on their lips as well.
This will tell me when I get through this, once I've dealt with Ekow on Saturday, this will tell me where I'm at and where I can go.
It'll be interesting to see, like say, if Josh does look good tomorrow night, gets wins in good fashion, without a shadow of a doubt, he very easily could get a world title shot.
What there was moving up and putting an assault on becoming a two-time two-weight world champion, and that's what I plan on doing on Saturday. Taking this guy out on Saturday, and that's what I'm going to do.
As far as Ekow's concerned, he's been craving for a fight, a world title fight.
My opponent needs to hit the floor or be hurt or just get them out of there. Every round will be entertaining. Every round, I'm just going to take you out. Proof's in the pudding from the past couple of fights.
We've got a really good main event on our hands as Josh Taylor is back in front of his Glasgow faithful, taking on Ekow Essuman. Welterweight division now for Josh against the seasoned welterweight, the former British and Commonwealth champion in Ekow Essuman. It should be an absolute cracking main event. We are going to give you a full preview of that in a moment or two, but we're going to go back up to Scotland for a brief splice because Spencer Oliver is speaking to Anthony Cacace.
Yeah, I am, guys. I'm here with Anto right now. Anto, fresh off victory. How are you feeling, my friend?
I'm feeling great, mate. Great night of boxing here tonight in Glasgow. Yeah, it feels nice not to be fighting and to be sitting back with a beer, with a bit of a belly, enjoying the night,
Absolutely. Listen, it's always lovely to be enjoying the night. Look, Nathaniel Collins, it was a coming-of-age fight for him there. He went in there with McGregor as a real 50-50. But the manner he dealt with that was first class.
Yes, very, very impressive. I've always rated Nathaniel, but I thought McGregor would have given him a real stern test tonight. And listen, he get through with flying colours, showed he has got the power and he got the boxing ability, so move on from there, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, the boys back in the studio, they're talking about where would Nathaniel go. Nick Ball's obviously the man at featherweight right now. Would that be the route, or would he go somewhere else? Your name got thrown in there as well.
What, Nathaniel?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm open to anyone and everyone. Keep him, I like to be called out, keep my name relevant, so I'll fight any of them boys, easy work.
I know you would. Listen, we had that conversation straight after your victory a couple of weeks ago about where you was going to go, who you was going to go in with. You've had time to think now, what are the next moves?
Hopefully, I'm sitting back, relaxed for a few months, and hopefully get the WBC shot with O'Shaki Foster. So, fingers crossed that everything works out.
And are you hoping that's a homecoming as well?
I don't mind, Spencer. I'll go to America, we'll go to Belfast, or we'll fight anywhere. I'm MED.
I know, you love travelling, don't you? You're on the road, mate. You don't care. You're a road warrior.
I fight better away from home. No pressure. Feel like I'm always the underdog, and I have that mentality, so I don't mind. I think I've had 5 or 6 fights at home. The rest all on the road.
Brilliant. Listen, Anto, always great catching up with you, my friend. And there you go, guys. Back over to you.
Cheers, Spence. Just a little bit of a misquote there. It was Nick Ball that Gareth was referring to for Anto Cacace. Nathaniel Collins, he was referring to Stephen Fulton or the Luis Neris or the Luis Alberto Lopez's of this word. Not Cacace, because obviously he's the weight division above. But Nick Ball was the man that he was referring to when he was talking about Anthony Cacace. Great to hear from Anto, because last time out he was absolutely fantastic against Nathaniel Wood. I personally am on what he's just been saying there. I think that
Shaki Foster.
Mainly
WBC.
Mainly my stance is the lad's been on the road. He absolutely deserves to go back home. So let's get him a fight first and foremost in Belfast. And if you can attract a Shaki Foster over, then yeah, let's rock and roll. But I'm also not against Michael Conlan if you're going to do it in Belfast.
No, listen, I'm not against Michael Conlan, but I just think it's the way Cacace's going at the moment. I don't want to write Michael off, who's a friend of mine, and
I'm not writing him off. I think it's a great fight.
It's a very tough fight for Michael right now. But I think from what Cacace was saying there, what Anto Cacace was saying there, he's after that green and gold belt, isn't he?
Yeah, fair play to him.
He wants the WBC title. He's held one of the belts. He held the IBF. He's got the IBO. No one really loves the IBO too much. It doesn't get a lot of credence.
Belts
in
are
our
relevant.
sport.
Get a big fight. Get it back
fight.
home. Let's make some money and let's
Coming
have a
up
rock and roll.
37, he wants 3 or 4 more fights. He wants big fights.
Yeah.
But Nick Ball and he would be big in if he wants to go away from home, wants to fight in front of 9,000 on Merseyside against the Liverpudlian Nick Ball. That would sell out because people love Nick Ball. We love seeing Nick Ball fight. We love his fights. Kakache and Ball. I know Ball stepping up a division to super feather, but man, that would deliver. That would deliver in droves. I just see those silhouettes moving. Absolutely fantastic. Are we allowed to talk about Josh Taylor for a minute before he walks to the ring?
That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
I go back with Josh Taylor a very long way, all the way to the Olympics when he was desperately disappointed to lose in the early rounds. I remember him then, he was tearful. I go back to the Commonwealth Games in that very venue, the SSE Hydro, inches away from his face when Flower of Scotland played, when he won Commonwealth Gold, where the tartan was out for him, where the tartan tornado really took his first stripes. Yeah. And I was also in and around him for those amazing sequence of fights from 2018 onwards, where he fought Victor Postol, who was 29-1.
Just listen to what Gareth's about to say now, right? Because the level of opponents that he has faced in his last 10,
you know what I'm going to say,
has been ridiculous. Go for it.
In 2018, at the SSE Hydro, he fought Victor Postol, who was a brilliant fighter at 140 pounds. 29-1 his record was. Then he fought Ryan Martin, who was undefeated in 22. Then he fought Ivan Baranchik, brilliant, aggressive fighter as well, who was 19-0. Then he beat Regis Prograis on that amazing night at the O2 Arena Grench. I think we covered it for talkSPORT that night. 24-0 he was. Then he beat the very dangerous Apinan Konsong in lockdown, who was 16-0, stopped him in a round, body shots. Then he went to Vegas and he fought Jose Carlos Ramirez, and he was 26-0 and unified all the 140-pound belts. He lost 2 of them on the way home on the aeroplane flight. He never got 5,000 Scots travelling over for that event, which he would have done in Vegas. He got to drive a Lamborghini around and all that kind of stuff. He was brilliant. And up to 2022, February 22, when he unified that belt, he got up to being ranked, I think I'm right in saying, number 5 in the world in the pound-for-pound Ring magazine rankings.
That's right,
His opponents, as you can see there, had lost literally a couple of fights.
One fight.
But had won 130.
Yeah.
That's how good he was. And he went in wars. He outboxed people. Josh Taylor was, I think you said it at the top of the show, Adam, he was our pound-for-pound best in Britain, bar none at the time.
Yeah, listen, and it's continued. I know that maybe since that, it's not been all sunshine and rainbows, but Jack Catterall was 26-0. Lopez was 18-1. Catterall 26-1. The one being obviously the first fight with Josh Taylor. Essuman tonight is 21-1. We're talking about a 10-fight record over the last 4 years. 218 wins, 3 losses.
He is one of the best who has fought the best. He's the greatest. They talk about him now. Obviously, they talk about him growing up in the shadow of some of the great Scottish boxers like Ken Buchanan.
Yeah.
And I think he emulates what Ken did at lightweight. Ken fought the best ever. The late, great Colin Hart, my mentor, 60 years writing for The Sun, always told me that Ken Buchanan was in the top 4 or 5 post-war boxers, along with Lennox Lewis and Joe Calzaghe and all of these guys who've achieved so much. But the late, great Colin Hart also really rated Josh Taylor. Look at the level of opponent. Records masquerade what people are sometimes. Yes, he lost to Jack Catterall in that first fight, in my view, by a couple of rounds. But he is a brilliant boxer. If he's got it left, and he's looked full in the face this week, which I've been pleased to see, not skeletal. If he's got anything left, we will see it tonight. If he hasn't, he will walk away.
Listen, it's a big one tonight because Ekow Essuman is no joke. Former British and Commonwealth welterweight champion. He's number 4 currently with the WBO, so that ranking, I suppose, is on the line tonight. He's 36 years of age now, he's Ekow. And he's only got 8 KOs on that ledger, but he is a very tough, cute boxer. Regarding the champions in the division, Boots Ennis, Jaron Ennis holds the WBA and IBF. They'll be targeting that. Brian Norman's the man with the WBO belt, and you've got Barrios as well, who's fighting Manny Pacquiao for the WBC champion. In this division, you've got Romero, you've got Garcia, you've got Haney, Catterall, Harlem Eubank, Ben, Pacquiao, Lewis Crocker, Paddy Donovan. It's littered. The opportunities are absolutely gigantic for both of these guys tonight. I'm going to hand you up to Glasgow because Paul Smith has joined the commentary team, so I'm going to let John Rowling take over, and you boys can get stuck into the preview as these lads are about to make their ring walks.
Thank you very much indeed, Adam. Yeah, welcome back to ringside with us once again, Paul. Nice to see you here.
Thanks, John.
And I'll tell you where I'm going to start. I read in the Daily Mirror today Barry McGuigan's column, and he was basically suggesting that Josh Taylor is not going to be able to have the impact and the dominance at this higher weight level that he did when he was a younger man in his previous weight division, and that in his opinion the time had come when he really should have walked away from the sport. In other words, he's suggesting he's nothing to prove.
Yeah, and listen, there are some valid points there. People would argue against that, the fact that Taylor was once with Barry McGuigan and the team and left, and there may be a little bit of hint of sour grapes, but also he could have a good point, you know what I mean, because he's no spring chicken. He's 34, he's had a lot of hard top-level fights in his short-ish pro career, but age catches up with everybody and Father Time beats everybody, and if it's Josh Taylor's time, then we'll certainly find out tonight, because it happens overnight in boxing, in my opinion.
As a fighter, it's kind of the hardest, one of the hardest things you ever have to do. I mean, Barry walked away from it after losing at the age of 28 against Jim McDonnell, and he never fought again.
Yeah, and the worst thing in boxing, what I see at the moment, is fighters having one fight too many. I'm sick of reading of all these old legends wanting to come back and fight when it wasn't there 10 years ago. You're not going to get better over 10 years. With Josh tonight, I think he has to understand, you know, hope that he isn't there yet, but you'll know after one round, and it's always in that ring when you find out. It's very rarely in training or sparring. It's in the ring when you tend to age. So if McGuigan's going to be right, we will find out tonight, in my opinion.
Well, this is the man who's going to prove what Josh Taylor's got left, whether he's still at elite level. This is a fella who's making his way in now. Ekow Essuman, 36 years old, from Nottingham, born in Botswana, and he is one tough man. He's been around at a good level, at British, European level for a long time, and he is somebody who will not stop going. They call him the engine, and he really fights for 12 rounds, Spencer.
Absolutely, John. You know, he's tough and he's proven, and he's a big welterweight. Josh Taylor called for this fight. Speaking to him earlier in the week, he said, look, he was the first name, Ekow Essuman, that was given to me, and straight away I thought, right, this will tell me where I'm at. I know I haven't got that long left in this sport. I want to establish myself as a welterweight as quickly as possible, and for him, Josh Taylor, this was the perfect first fight, and I've got to tell you, it's a tough one.
All the Essuman corner men, incidentally, are wearing T-shirts with the face and name of that great Nottingham fight figure, Jimmy Gill, who died earlier this year at the age of 78, and who was very much associated with Essuman. But now, listen to this Glasgow reception from 10,000 fans for Josh Taylor, who's getting the introduction at the introduction, and now there are pictures of his fighting highlights over the years being played out to this 10,000 strong crowd here at the Hydro. And I tell you what, if this doesn't stir you just a little bit, you shouldn't have an interest in boxing.
Absolutely, the home of Josh Taylor. He loves boxing here. He's had massive success here. It's been nearly a year now, a year to the day since he's been out of the ring. He lost to Jack Catterall. He's come back at a newfound weight. He was a happy fighter earlier in the week. A happy fighter is always a dangerous fighter. But the million-dollar question, Paul Smith, as I bring you in here, is what has he got left now? I know you've been in the dressing rooms with him. How was he in there? What was his mood like?
I've just been watching him in there. His attitude seems fine. He seems good, but he looks really sharp on the pad. He looks sharp, he looks strong, he looks aggressive. And listen, that's great. he still has his age. I hope he still has the youth, I hope he still has it all there and he hasn't aged. We will find out shortly, but he looks very good in the dressing room and on the pads.
And he's a Scottish Scouser nowadays, isn't he? He's down at the road.
Yeah, he's based down there. That's why I'm here tonight. We've come up, me and my brother Liam McCallum, and we've come to watch him. Stephen's abroad, otherwise he would have probably come up here. We see what he does when we're popping in the gym. Liam is in the gym with him more because they're in the same camp. But he's settled down in Liverpool with Joseph and Declan in the team, and he seems to have found his place to be at the moment because he's stayed there after mishaps and disappointments rather than just after the victories. And you find a lot of fighters when it doesn't go right for them, he tends to leave the trainer, but he's chose to come back, so he must be happy where he is.
As Flower of Scotland booms across this wonderful arena, you are left in no doubt at all who's the hero here tonight. They've come here to celebrate Josh Taylor, and in just a moment or two he'll be leaving his dressing room. He has a final swig of water and his team now is ready to walk him out to the arena, and when the crowd see him they are going to go wild, Spencer.
Absolutely, he's a fan favourite. You know, won the Commonwealth Games gold medal here many years ago. He's had successful nights since then. He's a real home favourite. They absolutely love him. He's absolutely bouncing in here. People up on their feet, arms in the air. They're looking forward to seeing the Tartan Tornado deliver tonight.
But of course, let me reiterate, he had that controversial victory over Jack Catterall, and so many people said that was no victory. Catterall was robbed. Then he lost to Teofimo Lopez. That was in June 2023. And then a year ago, Jack Catterall beat him conclusively on points in leads in the rematch. So, what has he got left? And now he steps up onto the stage in the back of the arena. The crowd see him, and everybody is turning around to get a glimpse, and the roof is being raised.
Absolutely electric in here. Everybody up on their feet. They love Josh Taylor here. What sort of performance is he going to give us at this newfound weight? The welterweight division, 34 years of age now. Question marks over what he's got left. And Paul Smith Jr., I've got to say, what an atmosphere.
Unbelievable for him. Unbelievable atmosphere. The Scots always seem to bring the noise, and you have them vocals, you know, the Flower of Scotland, and it's the end, and you have to stand up. I remember being up here over in Edinburgh watching Michael Gomez against Alexander. I've never felt an atmosphere and an experience like it. Tonight's the same. They really know how to get behind it all.
And the big introductions coming up. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for our featured bout. It is scheduled for 12 rounds, and it will be for the vacant WBO Global Welterweight Championship. Brought to you by Frank Warren for Queensberry, along with their great sponsors, Riot Season, 32 Red, That Prize Guy, Unibet, and Global Next Trade. It is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control, Steward in Charge John Swanson, along with the World Boxing Organization. President Gustavo Olivetti, Supervisor Istvan Kovac, Timekeeper Jim Kirkwood. Our three judges aside will be Zoltan Enyedi of Ukraine, Sean Latham of England, and Giulio Pidas of Italy. Our referee in charge will be Bob Williams of England. And now, boxing fans joining us live worldwide, and boxing fans here in Glasgow, Scotland. The time has arrived for the main event of the evening. Introducing, fighting tonight out of the red corner. He comes to the ring wearing black, white, and purple, and weighed in officially at 146.4 pounds. Coming to us from Nottingham, England, Essuman, he brings a professional record of 21 wins, just 1 defeat, with 8 wins coming by way of knockouts. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former British, English, and Commonwealth champion and the former WBO European and WBC International Silver Welterweight champion, Ekow Essuman. And his opponent across the ring in this main event, fighting tonight out of the blue corner. He comes to the ring wearing tailored tartan trunks and weighed in officially at 146.8 pounds. His professional record, 19 wins, 2 defeats, 13 of his 19 wins coming by way of knockouts. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the former undisputed super lightweight champion of the world and the fighting pride of Preston Pans, Scotland, Josh the Tartan Tornado Taylor.
And now final words from Bob Williams to the two fighters.
Okay, gentlemen, obey my commands. In the event of a knockdown, the fighter standing will go to the furthest neutral corner and stay there. Protect yourself at all times. Belt line there, guys, okay? Touch gloves.
The two stood almost nose to nose, unblinking eyes, and who is ready for this, the better. Who's going to win? Is Josh Taylor still above the Essumans of this world? Is he still good enough to take a place at the table reserved for the true A-League? We will see.
Yep, we're seconds away from finding that out. Ekow Essuman, we know he's proven, he's tough, he will keep coming. You know, he showed a lot of character previously in fights, picked himself off the floor, come back to win those contests as well. So this is a tough night for Josh Taylor, and we find out exactly where he's at.
Josh Taylor, that defeat was against Harry Scarf a couple of years ago. He's had 2 good wins since then against prospects, showing that he's still got something left, rather. Essuman, Josh Taylor, with those defeats against Jack Catterall, he really does have it all to prove, and he starts well here. Right-hand, left-hand combination.
Yep, hand speed should be with Josh Taylor, who's known and proven. And like I say, you know, this bout being made, you know where they've been competing before. Ekow Essuman only ever really been at that British fringe European sort of level. We're talking about a pound-for-pound star at one time, undisputed world champion in the Tartan Tornado, Josh Taylor, who really should start Paul Smith a huge favourite.
Yeah, he showed that he is, to be honest with you. He started really well at the moment. O'Reilly is Essuman rather starting quite slow at the moment. It's a little bit of a... It looks like he hasn't warmed up at the moment, Essuman. He's just plodding through the motions. Taylor has started pretty sharp, John.
This is a good opening for Josh Taylor, and the crowd is responding. They see that he looks sharp there. He looks focused. He looks ready. He's keeping a tight guard, trying to spear Essuman as he comes in. He's always been so good fighting off the front foot, Josh Taylor. There's a couple of good right hands, though, from Essuman. Those are his best 2 punches of the fight so far. The second one cracked into the left-hand side of Josh Taylor's head.
Yet 2 clubbing right hands there from Ekow Essuman, but Taylor again quickly turns it around. Big left hand there from Josh Taylor, and Ekow Essuman pinned on the ropes. Listen to the crowd here go wild as Taylor gets some success.
He'll want to just keep his focus, though. He doesn't really want to go in like a bull in a china shop in this opening round. Essuman is a tougher man than that, and the odds on a quick knockout seem to be a little bit longer than Josh Taylor maybe thinks right now. But he's dominating this opening round. Aside from those 2 solid right hands from Essuman, it's unquestionable unquestionably been a Taylor round. Essuman comes in now again with a left hand and a straight right through the gloves of Taylor, getting applause from his corner. There's another good left hand from Taylor. The crowd accentuating every little bit of success he gets. Essuman landing 2 good punches of his own as we come into the final 10 seconds. Onto the front foot again, doubling up with his jab and then following in with a solid left hand. Josh Taylor, and that's the Taylor round, folks.
Yeah, absolutely, and Taylor walks back to the corner, raises his fist in the air, very, very pleased with that one. Paul, the timing looked great there for Taylor. He went out, snapped his authority early, took centre of the ring, left hand through the middle were key, especially there. Great start for Josh Taylor.
Yeah, very good start for Josh Taylor. I was looking at Essuman before and wondering whether he started slow. I think he's probably started at the right pace, and Taylor started pretty fast tonight, but he certainly did more than enough to win that round. He landed some eye-catching shots against Essuman, and he started at a very fast pace and is looking good at the moment, John.
Let me just give you a reminder that you can watch along with us ringside here in Glasgow. See our handsome faces. Head over to talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel right now to get involved. Ekow Essuman against Josh Taylor live on talkSPORT, and we're coming up now to the second round after a very good start for Josh Taylor, the former undisputed world super lightweight champion.
Yep, dominant round that from Josh Taylor, who took control very early. Jab started landing, he found the timing with that, and left hands through the middle were key as well. But Ekow Essuman threw a couple of clubbing right hands, just a little reminder, Paul, to say, listen mate, don't take any liberties because I'm here and I'm dangerous.
Yeah, that reminder will always be there, and Essuman is the natural welterweight also. But as I say, he started at a very, good lovely left hand there from Josh Taylor.
Left hand goes in from Taylor, and it caught Essuman a little bit square, off balance, and for a moment he just staggered, accentuating the power of the punch. In all honesty, he wasn't in any great trouble, and the Taylor now has him in an arm lock under his right arm, under his shoulder. That's a good right hand over the top from Essuman. Quality punch, getting applause from his corner.
Yep, that's the key shot for a southpaw, is that right hand over the top, and Essuman has clearly been working on that. But I've got to say, when Taylor landed that left hand through the middle, I think Essuman looked a little disorientated. He didn't like it. Taylor really pumped up here by the crowd as he holds centre of the ring, carrying that lead right hand down low, trying to draw Essuman in to get the counters.
Well, Essuman is waiting for Taylor to come in because he knows once he's in range, there's a good left hand from Taylor. Once he gets in range, then he's a target for that right hand. There's a decent right hand from Taylor, and they're both swapping serious shots in there. But again, the impression of the greater work rate is coming from Taylor in this second round. Essuman, though, still landing solid punches of his own.
Shot selection's been brilliant here so far from Josh Taylor, who just slips inside and misses narrowly with that lead uppercut there, Paul. Brilliant shot. He's looking fantastic here.
He's looking very good. As I said, he started at a really good pace. He's landed, he's finding the target of Essuman, and at the moment it looks like the former undisputed champion that we know, Josh Taylor. He's boxing really well.
Crowd's absolutely loving it, and I'm sure the Taylor corner is going to be loving it. We'll, assuming the fight goes to the end of the round, we'll be going into that blue corner and hearing from the team, Joe McNally and the rest of the Liverpudlian crowd from that gym, the Rotunda gym, who've travelled up from Liverpool with the fighter, ready for this contest and ready to give their support. Good work from Essuman. Left hand, right hand, and there's a little bit of just a trace of reddening around the left eye of Josh Taylor. 10 minutes to go in this second round. We'll be going into the blue corner when the bell sounds. In the time remaining, though, as Essuman lands 1, 2, 3 body shots and another left hand and a right hand. Who took that round? Another Taylor round?
Absolutely, another dominant Josh Taylor round there. Worked the body really well towards the end. And let's just get into the corner here of Josh Taylor and see what Joe McNally's got to say.
Brilliant. Listen to me. Your jab's working fantastic. It's upsetting him all the time, Josh. Your jab is taking away his right hand. Just don't hold the feet long for me in the pocket. We need to shut him down, we'll get to foot. Yeah. Keep moving that head, keep working this jab and guarding him all night long. Now look, we've got 12 rounds, son, so pick and choose when to work, okay? Very good. Listen, there's not a law to knock out the body. When you're in close, switch it up, okay? Hey.
Well, I said they were going to be happy, and incidentally, if you hear any inappropriate words in the corner, I am duty-bound to apologise for them, but I'm sure everybody listening here to the main event on talkSPORT tonight understands what's at stake. And for Josh Taylor, all good work from Essuman, couple of right hands, and he catches Taylor badly, catches him hard, and just for a moment Taylor looks in a little bit of trouble, and Essuman showing that he's a danger.
I tell you what, that was great work there from Ekow Essuman. They obviously had key words with him in the corner saying, listen son, you're letting this slip away. Taylor is being dominant in their opening 2 rounds. Come out and landed 1 hook, 2 hooks, 3 hooks, and that, Paul Smith, is what Taylor's got to be careful of.
Yeah, he has. You heard the advice in the corner from Joseph McNally saying, basically, don't get too greedy, don't hold your feet in there, make sure you get out of range, and that a good old scout saying of getting out of there, but he waited a little bit too long and paid the price there, Josh Taylor.
And Essuman really starting well in this 3rd round, and he's hit him again with 2 solid headshots. The left hand in particular looked a damaging blow, and he follows up with a big right hand to the body, and now it's Taylor who wants to hold on and buy a little bit of time. This is the best spell of the fight so far for Essuman, and he's keeping a tight guard now as in comes Taylor looking for some sort of payback. Big left hand connected on the glove of Essuman, even though those up in the bleachers thought it was a scoring shot. It wasn't. This has been an Essuman round so far.
Yeah, I tell you, Josh Taylor's got a box for instructions here. You heard Joe McNally saying in the corner, don't get greedy, son, don't sit in the pocket. And that's exactly what he's done at the beginning of this 3rd round. And Essuman has made him pay. Essuman getting success again with a right. Josh Taylor coming back with a good body shot, but this round so far, with nearly 1 minute left on the clock, is Essuman's round.
It looks that way. A minute to go now, and Taylor needs a good last minute if he's going to get back into this, because so far this is a round for the Nottingham man, Essuman. He started so quickly. He's just allowed his work rate to drop now, waiting for Taylor to commit himself, waiting for him to come in. 45 seconds to go in this 3rd round. There's a right hand from Taylor, but it was only a partial scoring shot, blocked by the left glove of Essuman as we move into the last 30 seconds. And now forward comes Taylor, tries to land body shots. Essuman hurled in a big right hand from range, almost like a fielder hurling it in from the boundary at Trent Bridge. Never mind, as a boxer here at the Hydro in Glasgow, Essuman has had a good round here. Last 10 seconds coming up, and Paul, it's looking good for Essuman this round.
Yeah, I think the pace has dropped massively from Josh Taylor in this round, and the shot that Essuman landed will have done that again as he lands again with another nice right hand at the end of the round, John.
That'll be a 10-round round for Essuman. A couple of scoring shots from Taylor got the crowd roaring in the last few seconds of that round, but it was not a round for Taylor. And up to his early sparkling, those opening 2 rounds, he was altogether more static there. And I suppose those who are great fans of Jack Catterall, who watched that fight last year, they'll say, well, that's the way he is now. He ain't the fighter he was.
Yeah, I tell you, John, the engine really revved it up there. Ekow Essuman done enough in that 3rd round. He come out, stamped his authority early, landed some clubbing hooks. 1, 2, 3, and that took Josh Taylor by surprise. Taylor may be guilty of switching off a little bit there. And ironically, the corner, Joe McNally was saying to him just before that round, don't hold your feet, son, don't get greedy. And that's exactly what Josh Taylor done, and he paid the price. Here we go, round number 4.
Round number 4 on our card. It's 2-1 at the moment to Josh Taylor against Ekow Essuman from Nottingham. Josh Taylor, the great Scottish hero, and Paul Smith joining Spencer Oliver and I at ringside tonight. I'm thoroughly enjoying this one, Paul.
Yeah, it's an entertaining fight. As we said, it was a pretty fast-paced start from Josh Taylor. And then Essuman came back into it in the last round, landing a couple of nice right hands and sneaky shots. Good body shot there from Josh Taylor.
And another one. Both solid left hands. And forward he comes. Maybe trying to get Essuman to drop his gloves to give him an opening. And clearly he's trying to up the pace here, Taylor, in this war.
Yeah, massive right hook to the body there. And you can see Ekow just wince at that as the shot went in. And Taylor noticed it as well. Went to throw the right hook to the body. Whipped the left hand to the head. Great work here from Josh Taylor.
Essuman is super fit though, and he has got the strength and the stamina to say the distance and really test how much Taylor still wants it at this level.
The heads are coming really close, John and Spencer. Every time they're both clashing, obviously two opposing styles, the heads are coming really close.
Often get messy contrast of styles when you get a southpaw and an orthodox fighter, and Josh Taylor, the southpaw, who got to the very top of the lighter division, super lightweights, now trying to establish himself as a world-class operator, as a welterweight. Some step up though, because there's a lot of talent worldwide there. Most notably, I suppose, by Terence Crawford.
Absolutely, and you know what? There's a lot on the line here. We got a kid. We've landed a lovely left hand. Ekow Essuman felt that he's in trouble here, John.
He went back onto the ropes and now he clings on to buy a few seconds. He was caught square, off balance, and now Essuman tries to come back in this last minute. And that's good. Right hands, and this time sends Taylor back towards the ropes. They know each other so well, these two. A lot of respect, and Taylor knew better than to jump all over Essuman when he seemingly had him going. He allowed him to come back. Essuman grabbed hold of Taylor, bought a second or two, and then landed two tremendous right hands of his own.
He tell you what, I told you he's got character, Ekow Essuman, and he showed it again there. He was hurt badly by left hands from Josh Taylor, bit down his gum shield and made Taylor pay the price. It's in contrast here with these guys. You've got someone there, Ekow Essuman, with everything to gain, or nothing to lose and everything to gain, and Josh Taylor with everything to lose and nothing to gain in many respects.
Last 10 seconds, and Taylor, for me, has done enough to win this round despite that flurry from Essuman. And now we'll go into the red corner, and there we're going to hear from Essuman's cornermen and how they're reading it. We reckon that he's 3 rounds to 1 down.
Every time you throw to the body, he wants to fire straight back. So straight down to the body, he's going to swing back and miss. Every time you go to the body, he swings back big. He's throwing the left hand to the body. Trying to throw the left hand to the body.
You don't like it, but you have to show respect. You don't like it. As soon as you put your shots together, that's when you have to put it on it. Yeah?
Does not like it.
You don't like it when you have success, when you're working. Get me, yeah? Work that out, be smart with it, yeah? Step it up now, yeah? Got it. Good. Are you feeling good?
Yeah, what the man said. Step up.
Good, your belt. Yeah? Yours, bro. We need man.
Loved those, Paul Essuman loved those big right hands that he came back with. But Taylor surely did enough to win that last round.
Yeah, I thought Josh started better, Taylor, in the first half of the round, and probably just nicked it. But both fighters were hurt in that round, make no mistake.
Yeah, I saw about Ekow Essuman winning that round, if I'm honest, because I think he had the better second half, and that's generally what catches the judge's eye. It was a big finish and a big start here to round number 5.
Well, we will see now, maybe a key phase of the fight, because if indeed that round did go to Ekow, then Spencer has given the last 2 rounds to the Nottingham man, and Josh Taylor knows, if he didn't know already, that he's in a very, very real fight here in the 5th of this 12-rounder for the WBC global title, whatever that means. What it does mean is that Josh Taylor has to win this one and look good in the process, and he comes in now with a solid right hand. hand to the body of Essuman, who responds well with a left hand and a straight right hand, putting his combination together accurately. There's a left hand from Taylor. It's a fascinating matchup, this one. And we look at some stats suggesting that Josh Taylor has landed more punches so far in this contest. Well, that may be so, but the more effective punches, that could be another question.
Absolutely. Listen, the heaviest shots have definitely come from Ekow Essuman. Taylor has been hurt a couple of times. Essuman has been hurt as well. Heads again, coming dangerously close together. You know, this is a real tough seesaw of a contest in many ways, Paul. No one really stepped their authority here. Action swinging one way than the other.
Yeah, listen, it's a very entertaining fight, and as you said, if you gave that other round then to Essuman, then it's a 2-2 fight. It's a very level fight, and we've got it all to come, but it is gelling nicely. The styles are gelling nicely, as you said, then the heads are coming close, but it's certainly not a scrappy affair where the refs having to be involved too much.
And who's going to be the stronger as the fight unfolds? We're in the 5th round of a 12-rounder, our main event view here tonight on talkSPORT. The former undisputed world champion Josh Taylor, at the age of 34, back at welterweight for the first time against Ekow Essuman from Nottingham. And there's a good left hand finishing, a little flurry of pressure from Taylor, and the crowd liking that as he lands 2 more straight shots, a right hand and a left hand, getting the attention of Essuman, who's going to want something big now in the last 30 seconds. Can he find that punishing right hand?
Yeah, just sitting in the pocket a little too long there. Ekow Essuman, and Taylor keeping this fight at range, and that's where he needs it. He's the taller, longer, has the longer reach, but Essuman having success there, puts the shots together in combinations. But a good round here from Taylor as he lands 2 hooks and a left hand.
Forced Essuman back across the ring, but Essuman up on his toes as he almost jogs back to his corner, showing that he's okay. But I think that's a round which is going the way of the Scotsman.
Yeah, listen, again, as I said before, Josh Taylor is having to work really hard to win these rounds. It's at a fast pace, and the two that Essuman has took off him possibly, or the one that he's took off him, however you score it, Josh Taylor was a really slow pace, so I think the key to the fight for Taylor is to keep this pace up, keep letting your shots go, and keep the high pace up. Essuman, in my opinion, he's got to start timing Taylor. Whenever Taylor starts slipping inside to land them body shots, the only chance he's got at the moment is to start timing him, to start maybe pushing the ball, forcing the pace a little bit also, because he's a little bit lazy in that round.
And that is key there, that Essuman has to get the timing right, because the speed and the punch variety is all with Josh Taylor. Essuman needs to get the timing right.
Working feverishly on a little bit of facial bruising to Josh Taylor in that corner. Meanwhile, it's a good time to tell you, don't forget, talkSPORT brings you commentary of 7 Premier League matches on the final day of the season tomorrow. The best way to follow all the action is via the talkSPORT app and clicking on the Live Games tab. We've got Taylor ahead now by 3 rounds to 2. I tell you that Carl Frampton has got Taylor a little bit further clear, and Paul saying he also has him a little bit more in front than Spenny's got it.
I think it was that 1 round, however you get that 1 round, it's either a 49-46 or a 48-47.
Yeah, for me, I think it's closer than that. Taylor's still got a lot of work to do here as he throws a 1-2 through the middle of the left hand. Works well, but Essuman just grits his teeth, comes back with a body shot of his own.
He's a strong man, Essuman, immensely fit, and he is going to be pushing Taylor all the way. We're coming towards the halfway point of the fight now. We're here in the 6th round of 12, our main event of the evening for you on the boxing channel for radio in the UK. This is talkSPORT, and this is our main event.
Yeah, that's interesting here, because we're reaching that halfway point, and Ekow Essuman, known as the engine, is he coming into his own now? Because the pattern of the contest here, Paul, has changed. We've got Josh Taylor now trying to keep that space, trying to use the perimeter of the ring. Does that tell us something?
For me, the first 45 seconds of the round, Taylor came out positive and aggressive on the front foot, and he probably took that. The next 45 to 50 seconds to bring us to this stage has been Essuman, because Taylor's been on the back foot. He's starting to come forward a little bit more at the moment, but I feel Taylor is far more effective on the front foot when he's forcing the pace. But to do that over 12 rounds after a long time off the ring is very difficult to do.
Essuman has great powers of recovery and comes on the front foot again, tries to throw in that right hand over the top, trying to catch an opening in the southpaw stance of Taylor, who comes back with a solid left hand to the body. Good jab from Essuman, and another. Good work. Quality boxing skills, maybe just a little bit underrated. Ekow Essuman, and Taylor is having to dig deep and maintain this high pace which is needed to stay with the Nottingham African, born in Botswana, and now here on a very big stage indeed. And Josh Taylor has taken his foot off the gas here in this 6th round, and it's a valid question. Is he just struggling a bit at this point with the pace, I wonder?
Listen, I'm telling you, this is a newfound weight. It's 7 pounds up. He normally boxes as a super lightweight, and Paul Smith Jr. would tell you, stepping up in weight is not easy. He's in against a strong kid here, and Essuman, who jogs back to the corner, is very, very happy with himself.
He was very happy indeed, and he caught Taylor with a big shot in the closing seconds of the round. Let's go back to the studio where Adam's watching on.
Nice one, boys. Listen, I agree with what Paul's been saying. I think when Josh is on the front foot, he's absolutely in control and he's having the most success. It's when he takes his foot off the gas, he allows Ekow Essuman into it. I've only given Ekow Essuman the 3rd round as it stands right now, but there are moments where he's having success, and I reckon that he's going to start going for it now from round 7 onwards. He's going to need to in order to shut this gap.
Yeah, it's a competitive bout. I've got Josh Taylor 5 rounds to 1 up. You could argue that Essuman might have won another round, but it's a good performance, and he's getting rid of the ring rust of a year away. Essuman is a very strong physical exponent, but I like what I see from Josh. I just want him to be focused for every minute of every round and let his elite class show.
Well, how young, fresh and focused is the 34-year-old Scotsman going to look now in the second half of the fight? We've got it that Essuman is very much in this fight, and Spencer, I gave him the last round. I don't know about you, I gave him that 6th, which could put him back on level 2.
Absolutely. Listen, this fight, there's not a lot in this fight. There's a round in it, or it could even be level. You talk about a couple of swing rounds there, but Essuman is very much in this, and this is where Essuman comes into his own. We're going to find out exactly what Josh Taylor's got left now, because this is going to get hard.
And this should be a fight where the skills and speed of Josh Taylor would prevail. He's on the back foot now and gets caught by another right hand as his gloves dropped momentarily, sinks back onto the ropes, and Essuman thunders in 3 or 4 really heavy body shots. Back comes Taylor with a right-handed headshot of his own, and now he's trying to dominate from centre ring, but he's finding Essuman a difficult target to tag.
Yeah, Essuman, there's a solid look around him in this 7th round. I tell you, he's landing some heavy shots to the head and body, and Paul Smith Jr., I'll bring you in here, he seems to be oozing confidence. We know what that's like when a fighter feels that he's just getting a little success, and you just sense that with Ekow here.
Yeah, he's warming into the fight, and he has been, as the rounds have been progressing. As I said, he started probably in 1st gear and he's going through them, whereas I felt Josh started maybe 2nd, 3rd gear, really fast pace, and he hasn't done 12 rounds for a long time. I'm not saying he's by any stretch he's losing the fight. I think Taylor's winning the fight and winning it well at the moment, but Essuman, I agree, is warming into it. I'd like to see that protector being lowered down from Essuman now. Taylor's targeting the body along, his protectors come right up very high. Essuman.
Well, we'll see whether the referee has anything to say about that. Taylor's on the front foot, tries to throw a right hand, and there's some fevered advice being bellowed from his corner, and a left hand from Taylor strays low, or at least it goes low on the target area, and there's a cut to the left eye of Josh Taylor. There's a cut. How bad it is, I'm not sure, but there's a lot of blood, and that doesn't look good, Paul.
No, it doesn't, but this is the thing now. If this cut is an accidental head clash and the fight ends early, then we go to the cards, and
And this, like we saw last night, could be one of those fights where you just don't know what the rounds. If there's been a couple of close rounds here or there, it's how you see it.
Taylor will know that he's cut, and Essuman, he can see it close up and personal, and he's landing some big punches in the closing stages of this seventh.
I tell you what, Ekow Essuman's having a very good round here, and he'll be feeding off that. When you see a fighter's been cut, you find the newfound energy, and Essuman has found it here. Good round from Ekow Essuman. I tell you what, there's not a lot in this fight.
It is very much in the balance, and that, for me, was an Essuman round. Taylor dabs a little bit in a concerned manner at his injured eye as he goes back to the corner, and they'll work on that now. And it looks not a very clever cut, that one, Paul.
No, it's a pretty decent-sized cut over the left eye. It's in a position where the blood would flow down the side of the face and not necessarily in the eye. But we saw Josh Taylor dabbing away at it at the minute that it happened.
Let's hear from the Taylor corner.
Okay, smash of heads, only in there. Okay, but listen, don't be letting them take them. Don't be standing there like a heavy bag, so catch cash and shoot back short, then come again. If you miss the first phase, sell him a feet, and go again. Hey, listen to me, you're not fucking He's pushing the shot.
Bit of slightly over-emphatic language in the corner, which I apologise for yet again. But that cut, as you heard the referee indicate, came from a clash of heads.
Yes, it did come from a clash of heads, but do you hear what Josh Taylor said in the corner there? He said that, let's put it nicely, he hadn't got a lot left. That's just putting it very mildly. He needs a lot of changing here, and in his mindset, Paul, he's not in a good headspace there.
No, listen, we said before, listen, you're going to get tired if you start at a fast pace. He hasn't been in the ring for a year also. That does come into play, especially at this age. And when you're at this age later on, it's harder to recover, harder to lose weight, harder to get fit. Everything becomes harder the minute you pass 30, but having gone to the well so many times in his career, and it's an illustrious career also, these were the questions that we needed to see answered tonight from Josh Taylor. In round 7 rounds that have gone so far, in round 8 at the moment, we're still yet to see that.
Taylor looking very tired and not doing a great deal in the early stages of this 8th round. Tries to double up on the right-hand lead. He's trying to stay away from trouble, but a right hand from Essuman catches him square and forces him back off the rope. Another big right hand from Essuman. Taylor takes it, but there's a little bit of a grim look in here now for Taylor and his legion of Scottish fans who packed out this arena.
I tell you what, he's finding it hard in there at the moment, Taylor. He's really having to go soul-searching, digging deep here. Essuman has a second wind as he lands a left hook. Right hand through the middle. Taylor happy to grab hold. Bad spell of the fight here for Josh Taylor.
Clash of heads again, and this is a real crisis of confidence for Taylor, who takes another big right hand, and the energy tank is looking worryingly low here as Essuman misses embarrassingly with a huge right hand and smiles back at Taylor. And now here comes Essuman again. The crowd is trying to raise their hero, but he's not finding the glory and the move and the snap of years gone by. He is in a real fight, and he's struggling, and we're only in the 8th round.
Yeah, he's really got to find something here. 40 seconds left of this 8th round, and so far, Ekow Essuman is winning it. Josh Taylor trying to bite down, blood running down the side of his face. Ekow Essuman, right hand through the middle again there.
Well, Taylor, if he's, as he said, he's not got much left. He's in very, very dangerous place here, because Essuman looks as though he's got loads left. Into the last 15 seconds of this 8th round, we'll go into the Essuman corner, and I wonder just whether Scott Taylor really believes now that he can win this fight. The two land body shots. We're going to be going into the Essuman corner now, into the red corner, to see how they see it. But I tell you what, he is looking the better of the two right now.
Yeah? We've got to do harder, yeah? We can do harder. You can do harder. You know you can.
Monaco, take him to where you want to take him. You need to get through rounds, you know. I tell you, you've got to show that in Come on, man, yeah?
Go full shot.
Stay close to him.
Well, they're absolutely right. I don't think at this stage, Paul, Scott Taylor likes the pressure one little bit.
No, and listen, this is where the mental strength will come in. If you're feeling tired, and more importantly, you're telling your corner that you feel tired, then you need that second wind to come in, but you also need that mental fortitude to kick in, that desire, and that heart where you can't quit, you don't want to quit. But listen, as I said before, Josh Taylor has been to the well so many times in elite fights, in top fights against top opponents. Has he got that desire to do it again? Because he needs to now.
Two, three right hands from Essuman. He has Taylor in the corner, right in front of our commentary position, and Essuman coming on strong again there as I was speaking. Aims another huge right hand. This time it whistles past the right ear of Josh Taylor, whose face bears vivid and bloody bruised testimony to the fact that Essuman has caused him all the trouble he needs tonight.
Yeah, let's be honest, his face is starting to look a bit of a mess now. Josh Taylor is trying to turn this around, but another good start from Ekow Essuman, who's getting success repeatedly with that right hand. I've got this all level after 8 rounds here. This, for me, is a 4-round fight. Yes, we've had a couple of swing rounds in there, but Essuman has come into his own.
Who's going to be the fitter, landing the more power shots? Essuman bullies Taylor back again. 2 clubbing right hands to the body and the left hand. Taylor sunk back onto the ropes, and now he bobs and weaves, feints to throw the right hand lead. He's short of the target. Came lurching in with an overhand left, a little bit clumsily misses, and Essuman's had the better of the exchanges in this 9th round so far, Paul.
There's too many single shots from Josh Taylor at the moment. Lovely right hand there from Essuman. Big right hand knocks Taylor back onto his heels. We're seeing Essuman as the aggressor at the moment. And single shots from Taylor coming back.
Taylor needs a real grandstand finish to this fight. There's blood flowing down his face from that damaged right eye. Essuman clings on. There's another clinch, which the referee has to split. Bob Williams, who's done a good job tonight, and working away at the body. Essuman, a couple of clubbing shots, and Taylor doing no more than holding on. And this, well, I'm afraid to say, I would have loved to be coming here and suggesting that this was the sort of performance which was reminiscent of those great days of 5 or 6 years ago from Taylor, but it just hasn't been there tonight.
No, it's tough, man. Very, very tough. Like I say, going into this night, but at all level, and Ekow Essuman having a good round again here, working the body well, and Josh Taylor really trying to bite down on that gum shield, find something from somewhere, but can he find it? This now is becoming a psychological battle for both guys, because both guys, John, are starting to feel this.
And there's going to be some real soul-searching for Josh Taylor at the end of this fight, win or lose, because he now knows, I suppose all fighters know, how tough it is at the very elite level, that he now is being shown that a 36-year-old British European level fighter is giving him all the trouble he needs.
That's what I mean, John, and that's what I was trying to say before. He's gone to the well so many times, Josh Taylor, in a phenomenal career against the elite. This isn't the elite. This is the lower. This is the lower level. It's a few levels below. With all due respect to Ekow Essuman, but at the moment, at this age, Ekow Essuman does not look out of place against someone like Josh Taylor. This is a good close fight. As Spencer's saying, however you scored a couple of those swing rounds, this could be a level fight at the moment.
How did you score that last round?
I give the last round to Ekow Essuman. He was the one that landed the cleanest shots, and that would, for me, determine who won the round. Listen, I got Ekow Essuman 1 round up with 3 to go.
This is our main event of the evening here on talkSPORT. Josh Taylor, the former undisputed champion at super lightweight, and Essuman starts fast again now as we move into the 10th round of this 12-rounder. It's the right hand which he really doesn't seem to be able to miss with now. Again and again, he's thudding home, winning, scoring shots on the head, the damaged face of Josh Taylor.
Yeah, there's a sorry look around Josh Taylor at the moment, who's pouring out with a jab, whips in the left hand of his own there, but you're right, John, the success is coming from Essuman, who's the slower guy, big right hand through the middle there. Taylor felt that one, he's gone back to the ropes, and Big Taylor is in a bit of trouble here.
And then caught by a left left hand as well, which rocked his head back. Essuman's right in front of him, putting home body shots. Now he switches the attack to the head again. Taylor just pouring out with his jab. There's no snap or authority in any of his work now. Essuman is bossing this.
He is, John, and listen, when you want to keep someone off you, you've got to have enough power to command the respect, and at the moment, Josh Taylor's shots are not powerful or hard enough or have that sting in, because the energy's gone from him at the moment. He's really tired.
They're what Jim Watts used to refer to as arm punches, and the corner are getting mighty worried now about Scott Taylor, and he needs to have, Josh Taylor rather, and he needs to have a really big run of success now in these remaining 3 rounds. We're in the 10th midway stage of our main event here on talkSPORT tonight, and Josh Taylor is just struggling. Those arm punches he's throwing are not causing Essuman any real discomfort.
Yeah, and it's too sporadic at the moment from Josh Taylor. He's just going in little 5-10 second bursts, and he hasn't got the energy pool to keep those bursts on, and that's where he's losing the round, because the engine, Ekow, is just, you know, he's got that nice tempo, that nice rhythm, and for me, that's doing enough.
Well, you're right, Spencer. Essuman knows that he can just plug forward, because Taylor's throwing single shots as he lands another flurry, John.
Another big right hand, and Taylor had to hold on and buy a second or two to recover. 40 seconds to go, and there's damage underneath the left eye now, and he gets caught again by Essuman, and this fight is slipping away from Josh Taylor. We're going to be going into the blue corner, the Taylor corner, at the end of this round. I'll give a predictive apology to something which you might hear in there, because I don't think there's going to be using very choice language, because he is in absolutely dire straits here. And I'm not talking about monopolies, I'm talking about the fight here. It's slipping away.
Yeah, there's not a lot left here, and he's got hit with a big left hook, and he's happy to hold here. The bell couldn't have come soon enough for Josh Taylor as he walks back to the corner, and he looks like he's on stilts in there. Joe McNally in the corner is going to have to do something massive. For me, guys, he's moments away from getting knocked out. Let's hear what they got to say in the corner.
Fucking boxing real well. It's not giving him the 3 shots, so, okay? You're standing and holding the feet too long. Stay in the centre. Boxman, don't give him the rest. You've caught him. You're at your best when you're putting the punches together. Too many singles. You're looking for this. Feint, drop it, and then come up to the head. Switch the attack. Head, body, head, real close. And then rest when you want to rest. Okay? Is that registering, Mr. Taylor? Now look at me, son. When you're resting, just keep your shape to stop him putting it on you. Okay? Listen, he needs these 2 rounds. He needs them. Don't fucking give him them.
I told you that the language might be a bit choice. It was indeed. And there are 2 rounds remaining. And Spencer, as you look at Josh Taylor coming off his stool, it's not beyond the bounds of possibility that he could get stopped here.
Listen, that was a torrid round for Josh Taylor. He took some big shots, and he walked back to that corner. The legs were all over the place. Paul Smith Jr. would tell you, when you get into these penultimate rounds, 11 and 12, it is very tough. It's a psychological battle, and the momentum is with Ekow Essuman. Paul, this is going to be tough here for Josh.
It is. He desperately needs the second round, which doesn't look at the moment like it's coming. He's going back in straight lines at the moment, Taylor, whenever Essuman's attacking. He's had a little go here, but back comes Essuman, and that breaks your heart, Spencer.
Bangs his head around like a rag doll, Essuman, as he comes storming forward, and Taylor just cannot find the power or the snap in his punches to keep Essuman off him. Taylor now, centre ring, switches the attack to the body. Good body shot, but Essuman takes it, and he bullies Taylor back onto the ropes once more. Taylor holds on, the clock ticks on. There's only 5 minutes of this fight remaining, and Josh Taylor is in trouble. Another big right hand from Essuman, looking for him once more, and he puts his head back, Taylor, and he's looking very, very tired in there, and you almost feel that he's reached the wall like a marathon runner.
John, I'll tell you what, 4 minutes, 30 seconds left in this fight now, and that can't go quick enough for Josh Taylor, who's under immense pressure. Ekow Essuman, the engine, pushing forward, landing combinations to head, body, Josh Taylor's face, looking a mess in there. Essuman at the moment looks in complete control.
Now in the 11th of the 12 rounds of our main event here on talkSPORT, Taylor flicks out the jab. No purpose in it though, no power, no accuracy, just an irritant. Essuman is walking in, got him in the corner, looking for an opportunity for the big right hand that's caused Taylor so much problems, so much trouble in this fight. And there's another one. He rocks him back onto the ropes. The Scottish fans are a bit subdued. They're trying to raise him, but there's no great optimism, I don't think now. I think there's a realisation, a very real realisation, that their hero could be about to suffer a defeat here, which, if the judges see it as we've seen it, might be one which spells the end of his career.
Paul Smith, I don't know where you're seeing this, mate, but this is a Ekow Essuman, and another big round for Essuman here.
Absolutely. Taylor isn't throwing. He hasn't thrown much at all this round, and he's thinking, he's probably overthinking rather than just letting the hands go, but he's so tired in there.
We're coming up towards the final round, and we think that the upset is very much on. He was a rank outsider, 9-4 or something, or even longer. Ekow Essuman will listen now into that corner.
Then sit down and bring the shots. Yeah? Don't smother yourself, don't allow him to hold you. A little half step up and then rip him to the body. You're killing him to the body, go right into the body. Body first, then go upstairs.
Left round. You hear that? Left round. You hear that, Ekow?
You've got to go forward for every second of this round.
3 minutes.
Yeah.
Stop it.
You can stop it, believe it.
I'm telling you, you can.
Believe it, believe it.
Come on, Ekow, man.
You're all in the ring.
This is your dream right here.
It's about destiny, yeah, you've got to write it.
Yeah.
He's going to come out fast.
Yeah.
You've got to be fast.
Can't be shot. Stop, hands off.
Don't let him have a second breath.
Meanwhile, Scott Taylor on the other side knows, and they'll have told him, you need to produce the round of your life.
My brother Liam's just been shouting over to me. The bookies have got Essuman 8-1 on.
Yeah, Essuman for me, 3 rounds up with 1 to go. For me, Josh Taylor needs the knockout to win this one. It's been a dominant second half from Ekow Essuman. Round 12, what's going to happen here?
Well, he's on the front foot, Essuman. Lands a couple of clubbing body shots. And even the most one-eyed supporter of Taylor surely must now realise that he is in dire trouble. He lands a good left hand, but there's no great power in it. Essuman doesn't even do much more than blink, and he walks forward. There's a right hand from Taylor, but it's just a single shot. Essuman ties him up again. I've got Essuman well in front in this fight now. I think that he's won this clearly. Whether the judges may be swayed by the home crowd, see something different, well, that, of course, as we all know, can be very, very possible.
Yeah, no, we can't see that, John, and as I say that, Ekow Essuman comes forward again. 1, 2, 3, 4 shots land. Josh Taylor pouring out the jab, looking to go that down through the middle. But again this round, Ekow Essuman is the successor. That kid is in front.
There is no power in the Taylor punches. Essuman is on his toes, going after Taylor, trying to cut off the ring, trying to find the target with a big right hand. He's looking for the exposed jaw of Taylor, fighting out of the southpaw stance, and Essuman wants the big right hand, but the crowd are getting right behind Taylor, giving him the support that he needs to rouse himself. He simply must win this last round, surely.
This last minute is everything on this fight. If you had it close, if you've got Essuman winning 6 rounds, Taylor needs this last minute massively. It's a huge minute now of this round.
He is trying to reach back Josh Taylor, and here comes Essuman again, head on the chest of Taylor, landed a couple of clubbing shots to the body, and now the referee's going to have to split them, an untidy little maul, and he has a word with Essuman. 40 seconds to go between his most famous win of his career, possibly, Ekow Essuman And Josh Taylor has 40 seconds, 30 seconds now, where he is fighting, maybe, for the continuation of his career.
Yes, Josh Taylor pinned on the ropes. Ekow Essuman with his head on his chest, working the body. Taylor trying to find something from somewhere. 15 seconds left. Big right hand goes in. Again from Essuman.
And one to the body. He falls in behind his punches, though. And Taylor ties him up. The crowd is roaring their support for the Scotsman. But Essuman finishes on the front foot. He finishes as the aggressor. As the bell goes, Josh Taylor's face is battered, bruised and blooded. And maybe he knows that Ekow Essuman has done it. I don't know. Taylor punches the air. He's got a smile on his face. But Essuman is now getting up onto the ropes in the corner. And he's in celebratory mood because he thinks that he's won here. And he's being cheered around the ring and believing that he's produced a tremendous upset. We think that he's won it. Will the judges though?
Listen, there's a couple of swing rounds in there. It could be closer. I've got Ekow Essuman winning this one quite comfortably. I've got him winning it by 3 to 4 rounds. 4 rounds, really. The second half of the fight was the telling factor, the deciding factor. For me, Paul Smith, he took over. The engine kicked in. He pushed on. And Josh Taylor looked out of sorts.
Yeah, it was definitely a fight in 2 hours. I believe Essuman has won. Probably 115, 113, 7 rounds to 5 for me. But again, as you say, there's a couple of close rounds where you could have gave to Essuman, and the fight's a little bit wider. I think tonight, Josh Taylor's realised that inactivity at the older age that he is a crippler. It will kill a career off.
Irrespective of the result, for me, Paul, he looked an old, jaded fighter in the second half of this contest. And Essuman, who, let's be honest about it, he's more than a journeyman, but he's only a British-level fighter against somebody who's supposedly a world-level fighter. He looked very good indeed, and Essuman, we reckon, has done it. Adam, how have you got it in the studio?
I agree with Paul Smith. I think it's a fight of 2 halves. I had Josh in a comfortable position as we entered round number 6, but I haven't given him a round in the second half of the fight. I think Essuman came on nice and strong, and he's won every single round from 6 onwards. I've scored it 115, 113 in his favour. That's what I'm expecting to hear from at least one of those judges. What about you, G?
Yeah, I've got the same, 115, 113. Essuman winning 7 through 12. I gave him the 3rd as well, but it was a brilliant performance by him. That's not the Josh Taylor of old, and I don't think...
Well, the body's not doing what the mind wants him to do anymore.
Exactly, and he looked vulnerable in there. He looked vulnerable against Ekow Essuman in the last 4 rounds, and he was trying to find that kind of tensile strength he used to have, those wars he went into, but I just don't think it's there anymore. I don't want to be the precursor of him saying that's it, but I don't know, I thought Ekow Essuman was a clear winner there.
Well, I've got it, Gareth, by 6 rounds to Ekow Essuman. Spencer's got it closer. This is how the judges have it.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge John Latham scores it 116 to 113. Judge Zoltan Inyeti scores it 16 to 112. And Judge Giulio Piras scores it 115 to 113. All in favor of your winner by unanimous decision. And now the WBO Global Welterweight Champion, Ekow Essuman.
There you go. Ekow Essuman gets it done via unanimous decision. 115, 113, 116, 112 and 116, 113 across the 3 judges' scorecards. We're hopefully going to get a word with Ekow Essuman in a moment or two. You listen to Fight Night Live on talkSPORT. Oh, what a night. Fight night on talkSPORT. I'm Adam Catterall, Gareth A. Davies in the London studio. The gang are up in Glasgow. We have just concluded our main event where Josh Taylor and Ekow Essuman have completed 12 rounds. And it was really a fight of two halves, wasn't it? I think the first 6 rounds were fantastic from Josh Taylor. I've got a lot of positives to say about that first 6 rounds from his point of view. I think Ekow Essuman maybe nicked one of those first 6, but from 6 onwards, the body just wouldn't do what the mind wanted it to do for Josh Taylor. And Ekow Essuman, the bigger, stronger, natural welterweight, just took over. And he was thoroughly deserving of a unanimous points decision victory.
Absolutely right. And we both scored it 115, 113, 7 rounds to 5 to Ekow Essuman watching on TV. Obviously, the guys are there live at the arena at the SSE Hydro. What we're used to with Josh Taylor is him coming strong in the second half of the fight. That wasn't here there, where he gets involved in a tear-up, where he gets involved in crab-like movement. Remember, one of his idols is Manny Pacquiao, looking for punches from the southpaw stance. Just wasn't there for him tonight. He looked fatigued from round 7, 8 onwards. He was surviving in there. I know he almost remonstrated with the result when it was read out.
I thought he was actually quite acceptant of the...
No, he was unhappy. He was very... That's Josh. Josh is a very proud Scotsman. He's there in front of the Tartan army. I just wonder whether he's going to have to take time to reflect on where he goes from here, or whether he will... say I've had enough, maybe it's over. But maybe that won't be tonight. But he, to all intents and purposes, should be a level or 2 above Ekow Essuman.
Yeah.
Certainly where he's been in his career so far. And if you count the first Jack Catterall win as a loss, which most of us did score it, you did, I did. It was seen as a disgraceful judging decision at the time. He's actually lost his last 4 fights.
Yeah. Listen, we'll come back to Josh in a moment or two, because I want to praise throw a lot of praise Ekow Essuman's way, and hopefully we'll get to speak to him very, very shortly. Because second half of the fight, he was absolutely fantastic. And even in the first half of the fight, he was making Josh work at an incredible pace. Incredible pace. He wasn't going away. He was in his face, and Josh had to be in second, third, fourth gear right from the get-go, and the fitter man ended up being able to take over the second half of the fight.
He's called the engine for a reason.
Yeah,
he's physically very strong, as John alluded to, or said earlier, rather than alluded to, he said it. He's Botswanan born. He's a very powerful physical animal. He prides himself on that. He prides himself on being a 12-round fighter. He's not a knockout artist. He was there. He was resistant to Josh Taylor when Josh Taylor was having his good rounds in the first 5. That was the Josh Taylor of old in the first 5 rounds.
But he was being made to work.
And I think Josh, in the end, didn't put a dent in him. I don't think he was hurt a lot during the fight. It was very telling when Josh went back to the corner after the 7th or 8th round and said to his corner, apparently,
I ain't got much left.
I haven't got much left. And that was borne out in the last 4 rounds that were very clear to the guy who's the conquering hero in Scotland tonight.
Yeah, that line was given to us by Spencer Oliver. He heard that in the corner, so we'll get a little bit more on that a little bit later on. From an Ekow Essuman point of view, I mean, we're talking about a guy here that was highly ranked with the WBO coming into this fight. He was putting that ranking on the line with Josh Taylor. And whilst I'm obviously giving you the ins and outs of his ranking, he's actually with Spencer Oliver right now. So let's hear from the victor tonight, Ekow Essuman, getting the job done on the cards. He's with Spence.
Yeah, well, Ekow Essuman, listen, you said you was going to do it. You was a big underdog coming into the Lions Den, and boy, did you deliver.
What can I say? If I say something, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, listen, you haven't said too much all week, and you said, listen, let me see. You're going to see how I deliver in there. Look, we know what you're all about. We know you're the engine, you're going to keep pushing. But this was very much a homecoming here for Josh Taylor, and he's about him establishing himself at the 147. You ripped up the script, mate.
Well, like I said in all the interviews, he made a big mistake picking me. I was the wrong kind of person to pick because he knows what I'm about.
fights up to the halfway mark. It was quite close, and you come into your own in that second half, and you took him into deep, deep waters.
Yeah, that's what I'm about. I know he doesn't like body shots, so I set about him slowly because I knew he was going to come out hard and fast because he's coming up to the weight. He's not used to the weight. He's not been campaigning at it for a long time. Later on in the rounds, his oxygen debt will get to him. He'll slow down, and that's when I knew, yeah, okay, body shots and uppercuts.
Listen, you're very much becoming the Cinderella man of boxing now, 36 years of age. You know, people say, is he British, Commonwealth sort of level, fringe European? Now we're talking world level now. You know, there's a big opportunity in the twilight of your career.
I said it from ages ago. I'm aiming for world titles. I didn't say it just to say it. I'm not here just to make a number. I'm here to take over.
Absolutely. Listen, let me just mention this guy on your shirt here, a guy that we all knew so well. Unfortunately passed away, Jimmy Gill. I know he meant so much to you, and that victory for him, right?
Yeah, that victory is dedicated to Jimmy Gill. Passed away in January or so. We miss him, and that was for him.
I know you do, mate. Listen, let me bring your trainer in here as well, Jamie. Manager, let me just have a quick... Sorry, manager, sorry. Jamie, I just want to bring you in here, mate, and just, you know, tell us what that means, that victory there, because you've been harping on about how he's going to do it. You know, he was a huge underdog, and boy, he delivered, man.
Listen, I've been saying since, 5, 6, 7 years ago, he's going to be a world champion one day. I've always believed that. You know what? Someone said to me last week, Spence, they said to me, oh, you know, this is what he's been waiting for. I said, no, this is the opportunity to get to where he's been waiting for. He's world champion blood. He's a world champion in the making, and this is the opportunity to get him there. He's proven to the world he is world level. He's just retired, in my opinion, a former undisputed champion of the world. My guy.
James, you've been saying that. Listen, boys, the rest of the team here, look, what does it mean to you? Look, I can see Jimmy on there. He's in here as well with him. This kid now has put himself in line for big, big fights.
Yo, listen, it means everything to me. I've trained this guy from amateur as well, and I told him, when he goes pro, I'll make you a champion. And we've gone above what obviously we achieved, but now, world levels.
Right, listen, let's just start the ball rolling then. Come on, give me one big name. Call someone out. Who do we want next? Come on, there's big opportunities there.
We're not calling out there, we just want whatever's next. Don't say it.
Brian Norman, he's at the top.
Brian Norman, there you go. World champion Brian Norman. That's who he's looking for now, guys. He wants that world title shot. He delivered tonight against the former undisputed champion Josh Taylor. What a performance from Ekow Essuman. Boys, back to you. The engine.
The engine, Ekow Essuman, and he needed that engine down the second half of the fight because that's where he ended up winning it, taking Josh Taylor in that second half. And Brian Norman's a good shout. Listen, at the end of the day, as I was saying just before we went to go and speak to Ekow Essuman up in Glasgow with Spencer Oliver, he's ranked number 4 with the WBO. Now, whatever, you know, power you put to these sanctioning body ranking systems, they're there for a reason and obviously can then maneuver yourself into a position of fighting for a world title. Brian Norman is the WBO welterweight champion, right? The main guy in the welterweight is Boots Ennis. He's the WBA and IBF, and you've got Barrios who's fighting Pacquiao for the WBC. So Brian Norman is an absolutely fantastic fight for Ekow Essuman. Listen, closed mouths don't get fed in this game. If you're not going to call people out, somebody else will call them out, and they'll jump above you. Now, okay, he's ranked number 4. He's just beaten the undisputed champion from the weight division below, or previous undisputed champion from the weight division below, who was ranked, I think, number 11 coming into this. It's a good win. It's a signature win for Ekow Essuman. He looked great down the back end of the fight. Does he beat Brian Norman? I don't know. But does he deserve the chance to maybe have a little bit of a go at it? Listen, there's a chance for that. You've got to call these types of fights out now at this stage of your career. He's 36. He's not going backwards. He's got to call that out, and he's got to make a lot of noise for it to try and get the Norman fight.
Well, look, let's be honest about this. Josh Taylor was at his very, very best in a 4-year period, an amazing purple patch between 2018 and 2022, when he became the undisputed champion at 10 stone. And he's been beaten 4 times since then. By the brilliant Teofimo Lopez, who I think could go up and could be the number 1 in both the 140 and 147 division. He's got the skills to do it. He's got the tenacity to do it. At the moment, he's the leading light at 10 stone. Having beaten Josh in New York, I was there and watched it on the night. He was absolutely brilliant. He took over the fight in the second half and dominated Josh, who said his legs are gone because he couldn't withstand the weight cuts. Mm-hmm. We've seen Josh beaten... He beat Jack Catterall once and lost to him once in 2 very good fights. Very good second fight. 7-5, 8-4. Should have been 7-5, 8-4 in the first fight, but he didn't get the judge's decision, did your namesake Catterall. And that's the 4th defeat in a row, upper weight for Josh Taylor. And I find it...
Officially 3rd. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Officially 3rd.
Yeah.
But, you know... he hasn't looked
himself for 4 years since beating Ramirez.
For 3 years, yeah. And I think Josh has been at the very top of the sport. He was our best pound for pound in the UK 3 years ago. When you look at the welterweight champions right now, I agreed to go back to Ekow Essuman. Brian Norman is 27-0 with 21 KOs, a very formidable champion. Jaron Ennis is 34-0 with 30 KOs. Right now, the leading light in the division. As you say, Mario Barrios is about to fight Manny Pacquiao in July. So that's to one side. Brian Norman is still a very tough fight for Ekow Essuman. But he deserves his moment in the sun. And he's so solid. He's a very solid physical specimen. He kept to the game plan tonight. He wore Josh Taylor down and he didn't let him off the hook. That's the biggest name victory of his career.
Correct.
And he's put himself on the map. He's put himself under the spotlight because that was Josh's opportunity with all the headlines to signal himself at welterweight. He hasn't done it. It'll be very interesting if we get him tonight or we hear from him over the next week or so when he gets to look at where he is at 147, where he is at the age of 34, if he can really capitalise and ever become a two-weight world champion.
Let's get the view from inside the Hydro because Spencer and John are still ringside, obviously picking the bones out of everything that has just taken place. You've just spoken to Ekow Essuman. Let's concentrate on the victor first and foremost, gentlemen, because Ekow Essuman, like I said, in the majority of the bits and bats that we were doing coming back and forth to the studio, second half of the fight, he was just absolutely relentless. And any time that Josh showed that he was just trying to get his foot back into a round, Essuman just shut it down, didn't he, Spence?
Yeah, he did shut it down, mate. If I'm totally honest, it was one of those fights that me and John, you know, we were both, we had it quite close after the first half of the contest had gone. I know the guys like Cole Frampton had it wider than that, but I never saw it that way. In the second half of the fight, it was totally dominant from Ekow Essuman. He come into his own. Josh Taylor looked like he was biting down on his gum shield, trying to find something from somewhere, but that something had clearly left him. You know, you talk about the last clear victory that he had, and you go back to the Ramirez days. Since then, I'll bring John Rawling in here. Since then, John, we've not seen that Josh Taylor, and I think that become evident tonight.
Absolutely. Second half of the fight, he looked old, jaded, tired. He's the younger man in there. Let's not forget, 2 years younger. But my goodness, he didn't look it. He couldn't make a dent in Essuman when it needed it. And in the closing stages, there was only one man for me who was winning it. And talking to a few people whose opinion I respect round here after the fight while you were chatting in the studio, there's plenty of people saying that Josh Taylor now is effectively finished, that he's got nowhere to go from that, and that, as Barry McGuigan said in the paper this morning, you know, he's done it all. He's got nothing to prove to boxing. He's a proud fighter. He's been a great fighter. But now, this tonight has shown that it's just not there anymore.
Has Josh Taylor given any post-fight interviews that we've seen so far as he left the arena? What's happened to him?
He's not given any, he's not spoken to anybody. He's gone back to the dressing room, and whether or not he's speaking to anybody there, quite frankly, I mean, you know Josh well, I'd be very surprised if he was going to speak too much tonight, and if you did hear what he was going to say, I don't think it'd be very broadcastable on the radio.
Yeah, boys, I will say he walked past us and his head was down. He looked very deflated, if I'm totally honest, and they're going to have those serious questions in those, and he's going to need those serious answers in that dressing room, or when he gets, you know, has time to recover and think about it. It's going to be a long, long road back for Josh Taylor, and I believe that might be the last time we possibly see him in the ring.
Yeah, listen, we've just been speaking about Ekow Essuman and what might come next, gentlemen. I mean, we've been flirting with the idea of maybe a world title shot. He doesn't have the high-profile name to maybe be in with the likes of the Garcias and the Benz, who might be targeting some other things. So Brian Norman as the WBO champion, with him being highly ranked, you've got to call it out, haven't you, Spence?
Yeah, listen, that's exactly what he done. He called it out. Brian Norman, who's maybe considered the weaker of the champions, he is undefeated in 27. He's a good fighter, WBO champion. Ekow Essuman deserves that, don't he? He's done the British, done the Commonwealth. He's just beat a former undisputed super lightweight champion, 36 years of age. Come on, man, give the engine his opportunity. Let him have that world title shot.
I think Norman's the number 2. Sorry, John, go ahead.
There'll be a lot of people in boxing around the country. It might not be a huge popular ticket seller for the average fan, and they may not even know him too well, but there's a lot of people in the sport who know what a genuinely nice guy this bloke is, and how solid he is, and how he's served his dues. And there'll be plenty who'll think, you know, if Scott Taylor had to lose one day, then it's no real disgrace to lose to somebody like that. And I hope Ekow does get his world title shot, because he's a good lad and he deserves it.
No, I agree, absolutely agree. And tonight he showed that he has the minerals to maybe push the very, very best in the game.
Yeah, Brian Norman Jr. is promoted by Top Rank. Top Rank has a relationship with Frank Warren, so there is a possibility. I think he'd have to go to the States to fight Brian Norman. I don't think they'd get him over here. I think he'd have to travel.
Yeah, I think that is definitely the case, guys. I think he would be willing to travel as well. Speaking to him there, he said, look, just give me the opportunity. I don't care where it is. I am the guy that likes to go on the road. He's not a big ticket seller like you guys say, but he is effectively the Cinderella man of the division, and he deserves the opportunity. If Brian Norman Jr. is looking for what they will consider, you know, maybe an easy voluntary defence, there he is, Ekow Essuman. The fight, as you said there, guys, the promoters are there. The fight can be made. Top Rank and Frank Warren, they work together. Let's get it on, man. Give the kid the opportunity.
And firstly, I'd like to say I apologise for calling Josh Taylor Scott Taylor. I do know he's called Josh, but you know, I mean, why not have him on an undercard of one of the big fights, maybe in Saudi? You know, he doesn't have to be. Fair. He doesn't have to be the headline fight.
Yeah,
it can be on one of these super bills that they've seemingly put together every now and again, and it'd be an ideal one to have.
Yeah, absolutely fair, I think that, John. Listen, just before we let you guys crack on with the rest of your evening, I just want to get your opinion on Alois Jr., because we've obviously called through the fights tonight of Nathaniel Collins. He was absolutely fantastic. Moses Atama on the radio was fantastic as well, but we missed part of the commentary. Alois Jr., I know that you were in attendance for it. My word, that boy looks special, John.
Yeah, he's improving, isn't he? He won by stoppage tonight against a tough Scotsman in, where are we, David Jameson, and he did look really good. And I thought he was boxing so much better, Spencer. I mean, he was variety in his work, jabbing to body, switching attack from body to head, and he's got that terrific power, which is going to carry him a long way. He's a man who's going to be a real prospect at the very pinnacle of the sport, I think.
Absolutely. Listen, Barry Smith's doing a great job with him in the gym, and I think that we see him developing. This kid has had raw power. We've had him in talkSPORT, very charismatic, great guy, just loves hitting that punch ball. You hear it when he comes off air, you hear the thudding against the wall all the time. The kid loves it. He's a big character. I like him a lot, and what I saw tonight was boxing IQ. You know, that rawness is starting to go. Shot selection. You know, David Jameson, he was taking apart there with the body shots, the stiff jab, like the spear jab to the body. That started sucking the soul out of him, and then Alois, you know, executed that perfect finish, left hook to the head, boom, it was all over. Brilliant performance from Alois. I like him a lot.
Yeah, I completely agree. Listen, gents, I'll let you get on with the rest of your evening. Thank you very much for all your efforts from Glasgow and the Hydro. For those that are just tuning into us, should I say, for Fight Night here on talkSPORT, it's Ekow Essuman's night. He got the job done via unanimous points decision against Josh Taylor up in Scotland. Josh looked really good early doors. It was competitive through the first 6, but the majority of us had Josh Taylor up at entering the 6th round, and then it was Essuman all the way down the back end of the fight from round 6 onwards. I didn't drop him around. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. The engine took over. And as we've just been alluding to there, he might not have the name, he might not have the profile in this welterweight division, but he's highly ranked now with the WBO, and he absolutely deserves the right to be shouting out for a fight with Brian Norman Jr., who's the WBO champion. Why not? He served his dues, as John was just saying there. Been British, been Commonwealth champion. Let's see if we can get him a shot at one of the big ones on one of those Riyadh season cards. All in all, a good night, actually, in Scotland. Really good main event. It went back and forth. I thought the co-main event was great. Nathaniel Collins came through against Lee McGregor. Moses Atauma, again, just gets everybody talking, and we've just been alluding to Alois Jr. there as well, who I thought was fantastic.
Yeah, Moses Atauma, you keep hyping up and I'll keep knocking them out, and he is a very, very, very exciting prospect, but so too, and I was trying to dive in there to talk about Alois Jr. because I'm a huge advocate of him, and I completely agree with the guys. Watching it before we came on air tonight, it was just before we came on air, he is really developing as a boxer. A very strong punch, very strong jab, rather. Selecting his shots. Timing was lovely. Jameson's a really proud fighter, but what he did was he's got that aura of a guy that carries enormous power, so people are very wary of him and they don't know how to fight him. The more he develops his boxing, the more he instills his armory into that kind of ability to go in at higher levels. What was he, 12-0 with 10 knockouts now? I think it's something like that. That might be Moses. But
12-1. He lost his first fight, didn't he?
On points, exactly. Yeah, a four-round fight. But again, no shame there. He was a very raw novice, 20 years old. He's a great prospect. Physicality is amazing about him. He's only a couple of fights away, 3 or 4 fights, maybe a year away from fighting some of the big name cruiserweights we've got in this country.
In this country, I'm glad you said that, because I don't want to
in this country, because he is raw. That's the first time tonight we've genuinely, and the guys mentioned it. It's the first thing I was thinking. Wow, he's boxing tonight. He's not going out there trying to steamroll people. He boxed brilliantly. He was in Scotland in the Lion's Den against a Scotsman. Wow, he's a very, very exciting prospect. I think he and Moses Atauma are the 2 most exciting prospects in the Warren stable right now, in the Queensberry stable.
He's got a few, as Frank, hasn't he? But
those are my 2 most exciting.
Okay, that's fair. I think most people, if they've seen any tape at all on Moses Atauma, I think it's very hard not to get excited about him, just because he offers such a different thing.
He's 20.
I know. And he offers such a different thing in the heavyweight division. Obviously, you can see the beauty in what Alexander Usyk does with his, beautiful footwork, his shot selection, his fast hands, and his spitefulness. Moses Atauma has those types of traits. And yes, he is a baby, and yes, he's still learning. And we have been speaking about...
Could he beat Fabio Wardley right now?
You keep asking me the same question, and I keep saying whoever loses between Fabio Wardley and Justice Huni should be his next opponent.
Who loses? Oh, that's interesting. Who loses,
yes,
not who wins.
Yes, because I think the winner of that fight absolutely is on the trajectory of trying to pick up some type of alphabet belt. Let's say Fabio Wardley beats Huni, and I'm backing Fabio Wardley to beat Huni, right? So if he beats him, then why would he be looking backwards, up, down the rankings? He's looking that way, isn't he? He's looking towards the winner of Usyk and Dubois. That's what he's looking towards.
For all of those top 10 in the heavyweight division, and if Fabio beats Justice Huni, he probably deserves to be in the top 10 of the heavyweight division, just inside the top 10. If he beats Justice Huni convincingly, and Huni, remember, has won, I think it's a bronze medal at the World Amateur Championships.
He's very capable.
He's very capable,
yeah.
And he doesn't speak really loud. He's not got a lot of great resonance with British fight fans, but he's got a lot of ability.
Yes,
it's going to be a very interesting fight because Fabio's learning on the job all the time and learning rapidly. I think the problem for most of the heavyweights in the top 5 to 10 is a fight with Moses Atauma doesn't do anything for them.
Well,
it doesn't unless they earn a ton of money for facing him.
Do you know something? I was just about to say the exact same thing. This is going to be a really difficult thing now for the Queensberry stable with Moses Atauma because it's going to cost them a pretty penny to put people across from him, because you can't keep giving him, the people that we don't know, the people that look like they've got a decent record but haven't really been in with everybody. We want to see him in with somebody now, don't we?
Let's see him on the Wembley card as well. Just slide him into the July the 19th Wembley card.
Well, they're the type of cards, the Wembley cards and the Riyadh season cards, where there is a little bit more money floating around.
Yeah.
Let's get him in there and spend some of that money on an opponent that, he's being financially recompensed for standing across from him, and let's see how good
Bring
he
him
really
out
is.
at 8:30, 9 o'clock, and have 70,000 people watch him live as it fills up, as that You know that atmosphere. I can't wait for July the 19th.
It's going to be fantastic.
And Daniel Dubois and Alexander Usyk.
Listen, we're going to get stuck into all this because me and you are going to stay on the radio for at least another hour. So if
We've got another hour, have we?
Yes. So
that's interesting.
So if you're into your boxing conversation, then do stick around because we are obviously going to speak about the heavyweight division. We'll speak about Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua and all that type of thing of whether it is going to be or whether it's not going to be. And I think we'll have a little bit of a flirt as well with the Canelo and Crawford scenario. That fight is obviously something that's coming up in September, which a lot of boxing fans are extremely excited about. And we'll talk about the things that are coming up in the next couple of weeks because it's been a decent time, you know, especially on British soil. We've been calling for this for a bit, haven't we? Where fights have been all over the place and dotted all over the place. I think since Queensberry went to DAZN and launched their thing at the start of April, there's been some nice cards that have been popping up or nice main events, especially tonight. I think it's been a card that absolutely captured the imagination of the local fan up in Scotland. And there's a couple of things that are coming up in the next couple of weeks that I think people should be aware of.
Is it fair to say that the British boxing fan is the best in the world at the moment? The way they're supporting
always has been
live in the arena.
How has it not been?
There's been times when the Irish have been amazing. There've been times when the Mexicans have been amazing. There's been times
I
where
class the British and Irish together.
Yeah, but remember Canelo's done 70,000 in some places, so in America. So I just think our fans are incredible at the moment, the way they keep supporting the sport.
Listen, there's a reason why quite a lot of fighters want to come here and fight here. It's because of the atmospheres that are created by the fans and the shows that are being put on. Are obviously attracting those fans. Scotland looked like it was absolutely jumping tonight. Fantastic turnout for those Scottish fighters and Josh Taylor and Ekow Essuman, of course. We know that the Irish fight fans always come out, and the British fight fans, as we experienced a couple of weeks ago at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, they absolutely loved it, didn't they? And there's talk about...
Unforgettable, that atmosphere was. Unforgettable.
We've had some good ones, and there's noise that there's going to be another one of those in September. Everybody knows my thoughts on that, but we might be back in the stadium for those two... two names to go.
Well, it's 10 years since the inauguration of the big stadium fight here with Carl Froch and George Groves. Yeah. And then since then, with Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, and now with Conor Benn and Chris Eubank, we've had probably about 12 stadium fights. Usyk and Joshua, Fury's investment back here after being in America for a while. It's been an extraordinary decade. To fill out stadiums with 60, 70, 80, 90,000 people is very, very special. And that's why I say that there's when the casual mainstream sports fan comes to boxing, it does make the thing burst at it seams. I don't always agree with it. A lot of people didn't agree with Conor Benn, Chris Eubank, but it will
captures the imagination.
Capture the imagination.
Listen, we've got lots to get into. So if you want to join us for that conversation, 03717 2233 444. We'll do it again next. Because there has been noise throughout the course of the week. He looks like he's back in the gym, looks like he's doing a little bit of work. But today he took to social media and he insisted that he won't be returning to boxing.
I hear a lot of talk of the Gypsy King returning to boxing, and I asked the question of this one. For what? What would I return for? More boxing belts? 122 of them. I've been rumped. That's it. Fair play to them. They've had the use of me. But I'm happy. I'm happy, contented with what I've done, what I've achieved, what I've accomplished. Been around the world and back again. And here we are. This is what retirement looks like for the Gypsy King. Not too shabby. I'm in no rush at all to come back boxing, get my face punched in. For what? What would I return for? I asked that question. So here we are. I'm retired and I'm staying retired. I've got nothing to prove to anybody and nothing to return for. God bless you all. See you on the other side.
Tell you what, Lake Como looks unbelievable today, doesn't it? You know what I mean? With the lake and the mountains and what have you. And fair play to him. I agree with the last bits of what he was saying there. There is nothing to prove. Tyson Fury's proved it time and time and time again. There is nothing to prove to anybody. Do you believe? Do you believe that the retirement is permanent?
Well, I went on record earlier in the week in several interviews saying I've been hearing behind the scenes that there's talk of an appetite to want to come back. And I mean, look, he's in Lake Como in Lombardy on in the Italian Alps, one of the most romantic places in the world. Maybe they're about to have an eighth child, because that's what they... look, he's there on his own with Paris. He hasn't got the seven little monsters running around with them.
Enjoy it.
And I think... Aren't we all on holiday sometimes? You go to Ibiza a lot. You take the family. There are times when I've been away and I think, I don't think I ever want to go home. I'm on holiday. I don't want to go back to my job. It's the most beautiful place in the world. And you go, why don't we just stay here and just live out our lives here? And I think, given what's been said to me behind the scenes in the last couple of weeks about Tyson, about the things he's showing, his 6 mile runs when he's got a sweat on before he headed off there a couple of days ago, there's an ambivalence about Tyson. I do understand, as he said, he's been rumped, which I think isn't a verb he's just invented. I don't know what that means. I think what he probably means by that is we've got lumps out of him in his career. Maybe he doesn't want to be punched anymore, and that's a possibility. Maybe he doesn't want to fight anymore. I agree, he's got nothing to prove. He didn't have anything to prove, he said, after fighting Deontay Wilder, if you recall. He could walk away now. He's probably got, I was guesstimating this on the way in, Adam, he's probably got 150 million in the bank. He's got generational wealth there. He clearly loves his wife and his family. He loves being around them. And maybe right now, in the throes of a romantic getaway with Paris, in his floral shirts and on the edge of the balcony looking out over this former glacial valley in which he's feeling in love with his wife, the beautiful Paris, he's thinking, why the hell do I ever want to be punched in the face again? But that itch that he'll want to scratch will come back again. I think we saw it in the last couple of weeks before he went away. That's my take on it right now. I would love to see him face Anthony Joshua still in a 2-fight duel. You know, I understand that the Saudi Arabians are also interested in being involved in that fight as well. I know we had that back and forth a couple of weeks ago where you're saying it's past its sell-by date, and you have to go back to 2020, was it, when we were due to see them fight twice, and they were within a whisker of fighting
and then
in
we ended
Saudi
up getting
Arabia.
the Wilder 3.
And then Wilder 3 because of the jurisdiction or the judicial decision that Wilder deserved a trilogy. We could talk about this forever. It may never happen. I wasn't trying to wish it into existence last week. I was just going on what I'd seen and what information there was behind the scenes when Tyson Fury was depicted with his, or not depicted, but posted on Instagram with his father suited and booted. That was to do a deal with an Eastern European country, a business deal. It wasn't to do with the fight. But right now, he's reinforced his retirement. In a week's time when he comes back, we don't know. But that's Tyson Fury, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Listen, it's very similar to the things that I think were any MMA fans experiencing with John Jones at the moment, you know?
Absolutely.
I think people would like to see certain things, and then you go back and forth with social media, in, out, shake it all about. It feels like the hokey-cokey at times. At the end of the day, you just got to deal with the facts that are in front of you. Tyson Fury's retired. That's it. He's retired right now. You were talking last week with me about the Anthony Joshua fight. And yeah, when I'm talking about the very best guys in the division right now, I do feel that that particular fight is a couple of years past it being the best guys against the best guys. But does it have commercial value? Absolutely it does. I think we were just mentioning a moment or two ago before the break about those fights that cross over and catch the imagination of the casual fan. And that casual fan is the most important fan if we want to try and grow this sport. If they were to announce Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua, Wembley Stadium tomorrow,
huge.
It'd be massive.
And it'd be a 2-fight deal, and one could be in Riyadh season. It could open Riyadh season in
it'd be
October.
gigantic.
Huge.
But if the guy doesn't want to fight, then I'm cool with that as well, because I'm not here thinking to myself, well, that's going to affect Tyson Fury's legacy, it's going to affect this, it's going to affect that. He can only add to whatever he's achieved previously now. That's all he can do. You're not taking anything away by not doing something. And if he's happy, like you say, it's a brutal game. There's not a lot of people that get to walk away from this game with a lot of money in the back pocket, and he's managed to do that.
Fury and Joshua are 36 and 35. If, straight up, when he's 55 and he looks back, if he doesn't fight Anthony Joshua, do you think he'll regret it?
I don't know. I think that's only a question for him, because I think the biggest battle for... Listen, I don't know him intimately, Tyson Fury, not like you know him a lot better than I do. I think the battle of getting back from where he was to becoming the champion of the world again is just one of the most phenomenal sporting stories of all time. And that's the legacy, you know. And he did take on the best guy. You know, it took a little bit of time to get it, but he did take on the best guy in Usyk. He came up short, sound. And then he had another go at him. And he came up short again. It's okay. That's fine. No problem whatsoever. Tyson Fury is absolutely etched in stone as one of the best. The story's one of the best sporting stories. He crossed over. He's made people feel a certain way, hasn't he, over the years. He's inspired so many people. I see so many people on social media interacting with him about mental health issues and all these types of things where he has helped them. That's the legacy. That's the thing that he's left behind.
Sometimes he's an extrovert, sometimes he's an introvert.
Listen,
so we've seen a lot of different things on his diaspora, haven't we?
He's massively inconsistent, so therefore sometimes in our game it's very difficult to keep up with him and keep on top of the things, because you're trying to hold people to account with the things that they say, but then he said it this day and then he said something totally different on the day after. That's Tyson Fury, all right? Legacy-wise, when it comes to stuff that he's done inside the ring, that's nailed on. If he wants to add to it, then okay, that's down to him. I think when he's 50, will he look back at it and regret not taking
in
that
20 years'
fight?
time?
I don't know, because there's been so many blooming highs, man. There's been some big ones, haven't there? You know, the trilogy with Wilder's the greatest trilogy that I.
Oh no, it was a brilliant series of fights.
You know,
from the rising from the canvas like the Undertaker in that 12th round after being knocked down in the 9th round, the comeback, losing 10 stone, mental health, the trainer having to live in his house with him for 18 months.
Yeah.
I mean, I go back to, I'm often called a fanboy of Tyson Fury, but I go back to the days of Marbella when he'd just met Ben Davison a couple of days earlier, and Billy Joe Saunders is out there. And we went on a 6-mile run on the beach, and he was round. I almost jumped in shock when I walked into the MTK gym and I saw him sitting on a sofa, and he'd had some kind of hematoma on his throat as well. And I couldn't believe how big he was. I could not believe how big he was. To follow that story, I remember sitting down with him and talking about suicide, and might have been for the very first time that he'd wanted to take his own life, and he'd found his way back with Ben Davison and Billy Joe Saunders being a really close friend. From seeing that person, that physical specimen, to the guy that came back and fought Deontay Wilder, who was the most feared heavyweight in the world at the time, certainly the most feared heavyweight puncher in the world at that time.
Yeah.
Is like you say, it's an extraordinary story, and the fact that we were around for those 3 fights, we did all 3 of them, as a team with talkSPORT and whoever else we were working for at the time. It lives long in the memory. The second fight, the way he knocked him out after 7 rounds, the third fight, that epic battle that went back and forth with 4 knockdowns, and Wilder sprawled across the ring at the end of the bout. I mean, and Tyson Fury saying then, I don't really need to prove anything anymore. And he still had 2 fights with Alexander Usyk.
I think
still
at that time,
teased the Joshua fight several times.
Yeah, I think at that time the conversation was different, because there was a conversation as to who was the best. Is it Tyson Fury? Is it Anthony Joshua? And then obviously Usyk came along.
We could never have predicted that at the time, could we? That he would step up to heavyweight and be so good. Well,
exactly. He's come along and he's beaten Anthony Joshua on 2 occasions.
Yeah.
There was a question. There are no questions now. We know who the guy of this era is. It's Alexander Usyk.
Even if he loses to Daniel Dubois, he's the guy of the era, because the era changes then, and it becomes the young men's era.
Yeah, but,
I think that's what happens.
But I'm just talking about the Tyson Fury scenario. If Tyson Fury walks away after Wilder, there's still questions. Well, could he have done this or could he have done that? Listen, he went in with the best guy. He came up short. There's no questions anymore for me of that Tyson Fury era. Going back to your original question, I don't think he'll ever regret if he doesn't take it or doesn't do it. I don't think he's going to ever regret it from a financial point of view, because I think he's going to be sorted for life. Like leaving whatever.
How much is enough, exactly?
Yeah, exactly. Leaving a certain amount of money on the table or whatever. I don't think he's going to regret it from that. He might regret it from just the challenge of thinking to himself in his head.
That's what I think.
In his head, he thinks to himself, I could do it easy.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So I should have proved something. I could have proved something. Woulda, shoulda, coulda.
So maybe there's that element to it. And no, listen, only he can answer that question. Only he can answer it. Can he be bothered, right, going through a full... Because he's got to take it seriously. He can't do what he did, for example, and this is no disrespect to Francis Ngannou, he can't do what he did preparation-wise like he did with Francis Ngannou when he comes in half-cooked. He's got to prepare properly. He's got to go away, do a proper camp, work with his team, get himself in top shape, and then rock and roll. Can he be bothered doing that? If the answer is yeah, then do it, man. Because, like I said, there'll be so many people that would want to see it.
Or if he knows, because there's a lot of theories that we saw a decline in him against Alexander Usyk as well. That
but Usyk is he's off a different planet, mate. Anthony Joshua's not Alexander Usyk, is he?
No, he's different. Usyk is
Usyk makes everybody
the most
look like that.
complete boxer of the era in around cruiserweight and heavyweight. There's no question about it. His thought processes, his IQ, his footwork, his game plans, his living the life, his resonance, his carrying a nation in what they're going through, kind of globally.
Okay, let's put it this way. Let's put it this way, right? If Tyson Fury hadn't retired and he was still active today, and he was still what?
Well, he's ranked number 2 with the Ring magazine
but
rankings as active.
But he said he's not, right. If he was still active, for me, I'd still class him as the second best heavyweight on the planet right now.
I agree.
So he's got more to give. He's not like he's cooked. He just came up against the best guy.
Would he beat Daniel Dubois right now?
Yes.
I agree with you.
That's just a personal opinion. I think he would.
Do you think the Anthony Joshua Tyson Fury fight is more competitive now than it was 3 years ago?
Yes.
I do as well. That's why I want to see it as well.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think there's so much... Look, I can sit here and I know Tyson's probably sitting, looking over that balcony now in Lake Como, listening to us as he does.
He won't be listening. He'll be enjoying himself.
Just take my fancy for a moment. Sitting with Paris, they're listening to the show live. They might not be watching it.
That's a bad trip to Lake Como if you're listening to me and him. What are you doing?
If you're Tyson Fury.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's going, you lot need to just listen to me. I mean this. I think he's teasing us. I think he's playing with us.
I think today he means it. Maybe tomorrow we might not.
I just think he's teasing us the whole time. I still see the fight happening.
Stick with us. There's plenty more to come. You are listening to Fight Night on talkSPORT. It's always nice on a Saturday night just to have a little bit of interaction with people that know a little bit about boxing as well. And obviously me and Gareth in the studio shooting the breeze and talking the talk. We'll get stuck into some other conversations in a minute, including Joseph Parker. But it's nice to welcome Pat the Geezer to the show.
Oh, Pat the Geezer.
Pat, how are you, mate?
Good evening, gentlemen. Number one, what a fantastic show tonight. Not that it never is. It's been a little bit good tonight.
Thank you, mate.
I've really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Is there anything you agree with or disagree with in what we've been talking about?
I'm going to come to that now, Gareth. AJ Fury.
Go on.
No. Listen, if it happens, they want a number 2.
Yeah.
And then they want a number 3. I think both of the boxers have been great boxers, but their best days are behind them. Usyk has beat both of them twice, and that should be it. Adam's right next to you, Gareth. I tipped Tyson Fury to beat Usyk on the return fight, and I thought he would do. I thought he'd go away, have a hell of a good camp, and he'd win the rematch. But unfortunately, it never happened. Listen, Fury has given, and AJ, they give us great fights. They could have done their fight a long time ago, and it should have happened. And it should have happened, but it didn't. But now's not the time. It's time to say thank you very much, gentlemen. Goodbye.
What's your reason? What's your reason for that?
Why do you think that, Pat?
Well, in the Usyk fight, Adam, as I said, I thought he'd go away and have a good camp. Listen, all this is about money. It would be. I don't think they need the money. The two of them don't. It's all about money. And we don't need it. We got young boxers coming through now. We got some real good talent.
Yeah.
Let's start concentrating on the talent that's coming through.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So you want to retire them, do you? Do you want to retire both men? If you were sitting in here in the studio with us tonight, and Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury were visiting with us, you'd sit here in the middle chair next to me, to my right, and say, "Listen, you two, you need to retire."
Yes. Do you remember when Joshua got beat twice, Gareth?
Yeah.
Me and you spoke on the phone, and I said I would sit him down with me, Anthony Joshua, and say to him, there's still some fights out there for you, but you need to get yourself right. And it happened. And then, unfortunately, and Adam will tell you, I tipped this and I said this, Drew Barr will beat him. And he did. Because his best days are behind him.
Yeah, I think we agree with that, Pat. Where my head's at with it is that a fight between these two doesn't hold anything up with the division. You're right to highlight how good the division is and the fighters that are doing really well right now and they should be fighting for world titles. I don't think Fury and AJ fighting each other affects anything else. It kind of feels like it's its own thing. And yeah, you're right, the finances are massive for them. But I also, like listening to the Gareth's argument for it and being pro for it, the battle of each other is a thing, isn't it? And in this era, to find out who was the best, or I know it's past its sell-by date, and I keep saying that, but who is the man when it comes to Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua? I think a lot of fight fans would buy into that, mate.
Oh, listen, Adam, I certainly will buy into it. Don't get me, I will. I'm a fight fan, and I will buy into it. But then we know exactly what's going to happen. Exactly like you, Bank and Ben, we're going to have another one. And this will be the same.
But it doesn't affect the division.
We're one and done on that one because we don't think it can be replicated a second time with the fathers.
And they're away from weight as well.
But let me put it this way. For me, the travesties of this heavyweight era are we haven't had Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, nor have we had Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. And for me, they are that triumvirate of fighters, and not having those two matchups are a travesty for this era, in my view. Something we will always regret. Rather like we never had Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis as heavyweight champions of the world. When you think about the incredible trilogy between Evander Holyfield and Riddick Bowe, what Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe might have been. And listen, I think both of you, because Adam and I had this out the other week, and you'd have heard it, Pat. Adam was saying, look, it's just a huge commercial fight, but it has no meaning anymore. For me, it has a meaning in closing the era, certainly between two British guys who could have met, shoulda, woulda, coulda again.
Yeah.
5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Minimum 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't agree, Gareth. I couldn't agree more, and that's when it should have happened. That's exactly when it should have happened.
But a legal case got in the way for the trilogy fight for Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, so they couldn't do anything about it at the time.
But Adam, I'm not being funny. Gareth, I'm not being funny. It could have happened, and you know that. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do, gentlemen. I'm going to leave you with this. Dubar is going to fight Usyk, and you've heard it first.
Here he goes.
Now,
Here he
get your
goes.
parachutes on.
Here he goes.
Dubar will beat Usyk.
How's he going to beat him?
Dubar will beat Usyk. You've heard that right, Gareth.
But how will he beat him? How will he beat him? Fascinated to know.
I think he'll do the exact demolition job that he done with AJ.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Well, Gareth, if I've got this wrong, be the first to get on my mobile and say to me, you got that wrong, boy, and I'll accept it. But he will beat him, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to shock you even further. Fabio Wardley will fight Dubar, and Fabio Wardley will beat Dubar.
Wow. You've gone for it tonight, haven't you?
No, I get the shapes. I see the shapes. Because if that dog in Fabio Wardley turns up and breaks the heart of Daniel Dubois, it's possible.
Well, there you go, my friends. You've heard it from me first.
Can I play our little Moses Talma game with you before you go back and have your cigarette out in the garden and have well, you may have stopped smoking now, but
don't be a rude man, Gareth. Please don't be rude.
Moses Talma. Right?
Yeah.
Moses Talma, you'll have watched him tonight.
He's going to make some matchups for you now, Pat. You tell me what you put him in with.
I'm going through this division, right. You ready for this?
Go on.
Right. Heavyweights, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does he beat Fabio Wardley?
Moses and Talma?
Yeah.
I believe he does.
Does he beat Efe Ajagba?
Be close, but yes.
Does he beat Martin Bakoli?
I think so. I think so.
Does he beat Zhilei Zhang?
Oh, yeah, it certainly does. Yeah, he does. Yes, he does.
Does he beat Filip Hrgović?
Yes.
All right.
Listen, Gareth, you're making all the right noises.
Okay.
He needs to start climbing the ladder.
Okay.
I'm in.
That's the top. That's 10-5 in the 10-6 in the heavyweight division. Right. How many of these 5 does he beat then? Anthony Joshua.
Without a doubt.
Ajit Kabayel.
That will be close.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That will be close.
Joseph Parker.
Yes, without a doubt.
Daniel Dubois.
Without a doubt.
All right, there's only 2 heavyweights left. One's retired at the moment. Would he beat Tyson Fury?
Unfortunately, I think he would.
And would he beat Alexander Usyk?
Yes.
Wow. So you have crowned Moses Talma 12 fights into his career. We do think he's very special. You see him as becoming the undisputed king of the heavyweight division, yeah?
Without Gareth. When he beat Dempsey McCann, that was a big man.
Yeah.
And look what he done to him.
Yeah.
He's
and
special, man.
Truth.
He's special,
now,
man.
Listen, I'm going to leave you two boys out because you know I love talking to you and you know I know my stuff.
You do know your stuff.
I'm going to leave you with this now. I've named Adam Catchell Harry Carpenter number 2. No disrespect to you, Gareth, none whatsoever. Because I think Adam Catchell knows his stuff.
What, are you saying I don't know my stuff? Are you giving me jip here?
I love you, Pat. Good man.
Are you giving me jip?
I'm not, Gareth, I love you to death, you know I do, but he is my number 1.
Oh, easy.
Oh, without a doubt. The man knows what he's talking about.
I'll slip you that tenner later on, mate. Thank you very much.
I'll give you a ring in the near future.
Absolutely, buddy. Take care of yourself, man. Speak to you soon.
Cheers, Pat. Cheers, mate.
What a geezer, mate. What a geezer. Pat the geezer. Tell you what, he's gone for it with Otoma, and I'd say, what a shout that is. Dubois to beat Usyk, and then Woodley to come in and beat Dubois.
You can see that shape. You can see the shape of that. I don't disagree with him. It's something that you can put out there and you can say it.
It's believable.
It's believable. It is believable. It may not happen, but it is possible. It is believable. There could be something very special about Fabio Wardley as well. But he doesn't beat Moses Tauma in Pat the Geezer's view. And anyway, listen, you're the king for Pat the Geezer. he stuck it on me tonight.
Stick with us. You're listening to Fight Night on talkSPORT. It's Fight Night on talkSPORT. I'm Adam Cattrall, Gareth A. Davies alongside me. If you've just joined us, we've had some live boxing from Glasgow this evening where Ekow Essuman took a decision, unanimous points decision over Josh Taylor. Very competitive fight, especially early doors. Josh Taylor looked like he was flying. And then from round 6 onwards, Ekow Essuman seemed to take over the fight and he got himself a unanimous decision. 115-113 on one card, 116-112 and a 116-113 in his favour. I've no doubt there'll be plenty of fallout on that fight and what happens next for both men on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel throughout the course of the week and, of course, on talkSPORT. Make sure you're tuning into breakfast and to White and Jordan on Monday for all that. our thoughts will probably already be on YouTube. Don't go there yet because we haven't finished the show. Make sure you stick in. We've been speaking heavyweights extensively as well. Obviously, Pat the Geezer just been on there, having a little bit of a chat about everything that's going on in the heavyweight division. We've been picking the bones out of Tyson Fury and his social media post from Late Como this morning. One man that we haven't mentioned, and I don't want him to get missed in this mix that everything's going on, is obviously Joseph Parker. Listen, we've been vocal on this programme that Joseph Parker is having a phenomenal run of form at the moment, and he was supposed to be fighting Daniel Dubois for the IBF version of the heavyweight title, wasn't he? It wasn't his fault that Daniel Dubois couldn't make it to the ring, and he missed out on that opportunity to fight for that championship and took on Martin Bakole last minute and dispatched of him quite comfortably, and he seems to have been forgotten about and leapfrogged. With him not having a fight booked or anything like that. Frank Warren was on the show last week. We asked him outright what's the situation, and he says that he's planning something for late summer, early autumn for Joseph Parker. And I know there's few rumours knocking about for various fights. I just don't want him to be overlooked and him to have to wait too long, because we've got a real situation here, haven't we, where we've got Daniel Dubois versus Alexander Usyk. I would imagine that with it being a unification, there is some type of rematch in the favour of Alexander Usyk. I'm guessing at that. I don't know that as confirmation, but I'm guessing at that. So if Daniel Dubois does pull off the underdog victory in this fight, you would think that they're going to go and do it again, obviously, which then delays the chances for Joseph Parker and the likes of Ajit Kabayel even further. So what are you hearing from Joseph Parker? Because I don't want him to be left on the sideline, because right now, mate, he is in an unbelievable rich vein of form.
Well, I was just having a look in the break. Obviously, it's worth recapping Joseph's career over the last 3 years, or 2 years, in fact. Excuse me. 5 victories, 6 victories in 2 years. Notably, Deontay Wilder really finished him off. Zhilei Zhang, a close fight where he recovered brilliantly, and then the rebuild physically from 112 kilo man to 129 kilo man, built with George, I can't remember his surname now, who works with George Lockhart, thank you. A brilliant nutritionist and strength and conditioning guy from America, who's worked with a lot of UFC fighters, very notable fighters, including Conor McGregor. And they built Joseph up into a bigger physical specimen. He sits now at 119 kilos. Again, big. He's 18 and a half stone and looks good at it. He's in the form of his life. He's had 9 fights with Andy Lee, including that first loss with Andy Lee, which was against Joe Joyce, and look where they are now in terms of the pantheon of heavyweights. Joe can veritably call himself probably the 3rd best heavyweight in the world. He deserves a world title shot, in my view. He pressed ahead at 48 hours' notice to fight Martin Bakole, a very big 311-pound Martin Bakole. I don't know what that is in kilos, but it's probably somewhere near 129, 130 kilos, something. It's very big anyway. And he's proven that, and I think Joe's still only 31, am I right in thinking, Ed? 31, 32?
Yes.
He's 33, sorry. He's 33 this year.
He was 24 when he was world champion, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's been around a very long time, and he's still got his best 2 years left in him, in my view. He deserves a world title shot. My understanding is he's going to keep an eye on Dillian White at Portman Road on June the 7th, and he may fight Dillian White in the autumn. I think that's what they're looking at the moment. For him, that's a chance to put the record straight after being beaten by Dillian White in an amazing night, if you recall, at the O2 Arena, where they both fought hammer and tongs that night, and he nearly knocked Dillian out at the end and lost narrowly on points, was knocked down himself in the fight. Yeah. It's a brilliant fight, a brilliant atmosphere. The two men gave everything in a rich vein of fights there, which included fights with Dillian White and Derek Chisora and Carlos Takam in that period. We were there like 3 or 4 years ago. And
so you're saying that it'll be a Dillian White rematch, possibly?
I'm not saying it will be. I'm saying that that's what's being thought about at the moment. Okay. And you know, people will say, oh, I don't mind that fight for Joe because he'll be a big favourite against Dillian White, which I think he will be. He's in a different place right now. Dillian will give 100% as he always does. But for me, if I was in charge of his affairs, I would say let's just see what happens with Daniel Dubois and Alexander Usyk, because, like you say, there isn't talk about a 2-fight deal. But if it's a brilliant fight, then it wouldn't surprise me if there's a second fight. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. If Alexander Usyk wins again, I don't think there'll be a third fight.
No.
But it's under the proviso that Daniel Dubois wins, then there could possibly be a trilogy.
Well, listen, if Daniel Dubois wins, Alexander Usyk is well within his right to call for it because he's served his time. You know, you earn the right, don't you, to be able to go back into. I completely disagree with rematch clauses and all that type of thing. But if you are a champion that has fought the best, beat the best, and then you get beat, you don't all of a sudden become the number 6 contender in the world. You're still the number 1 contender in the world, even if you've just been beaten. So therefore, he would be well within his right to call for that. Personally, I think that Dubois versus Usyk is a great fight, and it's going to capture the imagination of the fans. They're going to come out in their droves, and I think we're all going to be in on the fight. What I would have loved to have happened, just to continue this meritocracy run that we've been on, was to have Caballel fight one of them, and Parker to fight the other, and then the winners of that could have come together maybe at the back end of the year for a big crescendo. It just now puts on hold Caballel. It puts on hold Joseph Parker away from the top spots, doesn't it?
And one of the things that was poo-pooed when I said it a few months ago was that Caballel was being offered Vladimir Klitschko in a comeback, and I don't know if you've seen the news recently. He said, no, I don't want to face that guy. He hasn't been around for 6 years. I don't want to face a guy.
Fair play.
Yeah, absolutely fair play. And I think there was an opportunity. One of the problems is with Ajit Caballel and Joseph Parker managed by the same person, it's hard to get them in a ring together because the options are being left open on them.
Yeah. But one holds an interim with one sanctioning body, one holds an interim with another sanctioning body. Why would they give that up when they're... I mean, from Joseph's point of view, he had the world title fight with Daniel Dubois. He was there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't his fault that he's now not having a world title fight. I just think it's been incredibly unfair on him. And I do feel for him a lot. This boxing game is a brutal game at the end of the day, isn't it? And I just hope... Listen, I hope he gets looked after because he's earned it. And we want to reward the meritocracy of these guys that are serving it rather than the guys that have got a bit of profile and maybe a bit of a backing from somebody.
Yeah, and there's nothing we can do about it. This is the wild, wild west in play again. Everybody knows it's unfair on Joseph Parker. He should have got a world title shot by now. But he's having to wait out his time. And let's hope he doesn't slide down the snake and fight the wrong person and slide out of contention.
Stick with us.
Or get beaten by Moses Tauma.
He's not going to fight Moses Tauma.
No, he shouldn't fight Moses Tauma.
Stick with us. You're listening to Fight Night on talkSPORT. This is Fight Night on talkSPORT. I'm Adam Catterall. Gareth A. Davies is alongside me. We've been talking about, obviously, the social media antics of Tyson Fury and whether he is and whether he isn't retired, and I'm sure that conversation will develop and continue for a few more weeks and months and what have you, before we find out the truth on it. But one thing that is also doing the rounds on social media is what's going on with the heavyweight division over in the UFC, because John Jones seems to be having a whale of a time with a lot of fight fans at the moment. He's out in, I think he's out in Thailand doing a little bit of a television show out there and enjoying life, and seems to be taking to social media every single day, referring to the fact that he is out the game now.
A very weird, wild Thailand reality TV show with a load of Eastern Europeans where this guy seems to walk in and fight with everyone the whole time. Jake Shields out there. Nick Diaz is out there. Nate Diaz is out there. Like, I've seen like one of those mentions where it's all beautifully lit and loads of cameras, loads of people around, and then they're all brawling with each other. Yeah. John's standing there not fighting with anyone, I hasten to add.
No.
He doesn't want to fight at the moment.
Well, he was interviewed the other day, and I think he said, well, he wasn't interviewed actually. He was talking to somebody on FaceTime, and it was being filmed, and he said to the person that he was speaking to that he is done, insinuating that he is now out of the game. And this is a bit of a mess. It's a bit of a stain, really, on the UFC, because traditionally they get this right. They get the best guys against the best guys. You have one champion per division. It's very easy to follow, but this heavyweight scenario has been an absolute mess for the best part of 2 years. Just for those that don't follow it, I'll give you a little bit of a sprinkling, and this might resonate with some boxing fans that are frustrated with certain things that haven't materialised in the world of boxing over the last few years. John Jones was, listen, a phenomenal light heavyweight, and he's often referred to, and he refers to himself as the greatest of all time. And I don't think many people would argue with that, because the run that he went on at light heavyweight was absolutely, truly sensational. Now, he went away for a period of time when Francis Ngannou was the heavyweight champion in order to prepare to move up to heavyweight. The fight with Francis Ngannou didn't materialise, and when Francis left the UFC, John then all of a sudden was ready to rock and roll, and he took on Cyril Gane for the vacant title and became the heavyweight champion of the world. He was then slated to fight Stipe Miocic.
That's March 2023 and November 2024 where he eventually fought Stipe.
All this is all 2023.
But this is still 2023, yeah.
So 2023 is when he becomes the champion against Cyril
in March.
Gane.
Yep.
He was due to fight him at Madison Square Garden in November of 2023. Now, that fight didn't materialise because John tore his pectoral muscle a couple of weeks out from the fight, and therefore the fight got pulled. At that time, the UFC were looking for a main event, and they put Tom Aspinall in with Sergey Pavlovich. Pavlovich being the backup fighter for the fight. Stipe Miocic didn't want to fight Pavlovich, so Tom Aspinall came in. Tom Aspinall won the interim championship of the world. Now, what should happen, and what normally happens in the world of UFC, is that when the undisputed champion, that being John Jones, is ready and fit and able to rock and roll again, his first fight back will be against the interim champion, because we don't have a dispute. We get it done and dusted. Undisputed fights the interim champion. That didn't materialise because John said, well, hang on a minute, I was supposed to fight Stipe. Now, Stipe Miocic is classed as the best heavyweight that the UFC have seen, and John wanted that on the ledger. Now, for some reason, the UFC kind of pandered to that need and made that fight in November of 2024. Meanwhile, Tom Aspinall's defending his interim championship against Curtis Blades up in Manchester. So he's defending an interim championship, which I think was ridiculous. But John Jones then fights Stipe Miocic. This is November of 2024. In the immediate aftermath of that, what should have happened is, right, we're booking this fight. Interim champion versus undisputed champion. And we are still in a situation today, in May, where are we? May 24th of 2025, where we have not had it solidified down that Tom Aspinall is fighting John Jones for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. And we've now got the undisputed champion, alluding to the fact that he's retired and he's off and he's not going to be fighting anytime soon, which is absolutely ridiculous when you've got a young man that is, one, being denied the earning potential that Tom Aspinall could be out fighting 3 times a year. He's just got to sit and wait. And 2, the opportunity to fight for the undisputed championship. And as well as that, it's holding up the whole division, because I've just seen a thing from Alexander Volkov, another top-ranked heavyweight with the UFC, who's like, well, hang on a minute, what's happening with us? I want a top contenders fight because I want to be next in line. I want my shot. So the whole division is an absolute mess. For me, this is the solution. What the UFC need to do, they need to get hold of it. It's their game, right? What they need to do is get a date off John Jones. If John Jones will not commit to a date, take the belt off him. It's not his belt.
I agree with that.
take the belt off him,
Yeah.
make a fight for Tom Aspinall against Cyril Gane or Volkov, whoever it may be, I don't care, right? Undisputed championship fight. When John Jones wants to fight again, give us a ring. You can have the first dibs because of your reputation and your resume and what you've served in the past. You can have the first go at it. But if you're going to hold up the division, then the belt has to be taken off him.
They should have stripped him already. They should have stripped him. I mean, because when the Stipe Miocic fight was a goodbye fight for Miocic, wasn't it? It was a name on the resume.
I can understand making it in 2023. Can't understand making it in 2024.
Yeah, it did. It was odd. It was odd because by then Tom Aspinall was the resurgent, or was he's the man, the ascendant heavyweight in the division. It's a massive fight. The longer John Jones leaves it, the worse for him, because Aspinall's growing the whole time. John Jones is getting older.
Is it affecting his reputation with the fans?
Of course it is. Of course, you know me. I'm the biggest fan of John Jones. I'm not a fan. I'm the biggest supporter of John Jones. I've had a great relationship with him for 17 odd years, and I'm a huge advocate for him. But I do not understand what's happening at the moment. He just doesn't. You mentioned the similarities with he and Tyson Fury at the moment, where maybe he just doesn't have the appetite for it anymore. So just retire,
and that's fine.
Or just give up the belt,
and that's fine.
And no one's going to mind. And I saw you say the other day, he has a status, and I believe it. He is the GOAT of MMA, but live up to that. Then make a decision based on that.
Yeah.
Make a decision rather than holding It feels like he's holding everyone to ransom a little bit,
and that's not fair.
That's not a healthy way to be. And at the end of the day, the UFC heavyweight division. There's some old boys in there. It's not the most stacked division in sport, let alone combat sport.
Yeah.
And Tom Aspinall against John Jones is a very big fight. It's a very big fight in America because all the noise that's been made around it. I don't think it would happen here. I don't think John Jones would come here to do it. They'd have to do it at midnight till 6 a.m. But for me, make the fight or just vacate the belt. Or vacate the title, give the belt back. I want to see the fight, though.
Absolutely,
if I'm honest.
We all want to see the fight.
It for 2 years.
Everybody wants to see the fight. Yeah. It seems that bar John Jones. So we'll find out.
I'm still picking John Jones to win it, by the way.
Well, when it's made, I'll tell you who's going to win it. Listen, thank you very much, mate, for your company tonight. I've enjoyed it immensely. Thank you very much for your company as well, for coming to join us on the show. Hopefully you've enjoyed everything that we brought you from Scotland. There'll be a big fallout of that on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel throughout the course of the week. So make sure you subscribe to that, get stuck into the Fight Night podcast as well, and there'll be plenty of action coming your way throughout the course of the week here on talkSPORT.